everybody. My name is... Hang on. Sorry, what's that? Butter, can you wait? Everyone's cheering because Simdog and Butter are finally back on RSC, and we are opening this week's games on stream. And starting up, Butter, it's an interesting one. First versus fourth in Challenger, Pardus versus Serene Yamato.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a pleasure to be back in the caster booth with the one and only Simdog. And we've got B-Shake in the background as well. What a team we've got lined up already. But obviously, there's even more great casters to come along in the stream. But we've got to get with the first series first. You know, you say first versus fourth. But for the people in chat, it's a lot closer than it sounds. It's literally 3 game wins separating them apart. So, you know, a big win here could really shake things up in that top 4 Simdog, and obviously it may be Challenger, but I know they're going to give us something to, you know, to entertain us with.
I tell you what, that 3-game differential is very crucial. Pardus, they're on a 4-2-2 record so far this season in 4th, but Serene Yamato, they're 5-3-0. They haven't lost yet, so if Pardus were to give them their first loss tonight, that would actually mean that, depending on the result, they could jump to joint first or even go clear first with a 1-game differential over Serene Yamato. So it is a very, very crucial game here that we have starting up on stream. And to be honest, I am so excited to get into this one. It's been such a long time since we've been in RSC, especially casting together, Buddha.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, look at the stats again as well. Look at the goal difference. Literally, 1 goal difference is separated from these two teams. You know, a number 1 team, maybe you expected that the highest goal difference. Well, no, that's not the case, you know. To be first, it's about closing out those wins. But if you look at these stats, it's a very close matchup here. Pardus, obviously, you know, maybe you could say they're the expected team to edge out the loss here, but you can't count anyone out in RSC. Anything can happen. We've seen the bottom teams take out the top dog, Simdog, so anything can happen. But, you know, for Pardus, in their last 5 results, they've lost 1 series and won 4. And for Serene Yamato, Simdog, they've not lost, so they're technically unbeaten in their last 5.
Yeah, and that's a very good record, especially going into this one. You can see how close everything is on these stats as well. The goals for, the goals against, very close. The saves, though, that is the big difference. That is why Yamato are probably here ahead at first right now. But you can see that there's some very strong players on both of these teams. But Quarentra and Fatfish Tank, look at the amount of saves that those guys get. And Morvi isn't too far behind either.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at saves, you just see how much of a strong defense the teams have. It shows how much rotation they have. You know, the back post, second man, and first man. It shows that they know how it works. They've got the flow in pace. I mean, just looking at the other stats as well, we see Fatfish Tank and Quarentra kind of sharing out the assists and goals as well, showing that there's some chemistry. There is some link-up plays in the midfield. I mean, even for Pardus, we see that as well. We see the assists and goals come from Mesmerize and Johnny. So I'm expecting, you know, those 2 link-ups from each side. I think it's going to be a battle of which pair can really stand out.
And that is the key in this game, in such a crucial game, where one can go clear at the top, or one can jump from 4th to the top. Who is going to make it? We need those standout players, and we're about to find out who they are. Game 1 is underway, and we are starting out with Ike just missing out on that one. Fatfish Tank too, maybe a couple nerves early on. Quarentra with a big boom downfield. The save being made here for Pardus, but pressure, it's still not off. But Ike, he's an extremely good player in my opinion. I've seen him in Challenger before. I thought he was strong then. Maybe seen him drop off a tiny bit, but hopefully he can pick up the performance and get a good result here as the shot comes out from far out. Double, maybe just a miss, but the player is up again and just saved away.
Defense held strong from the side of Serene Yamato, but they're on the back wall again. It's going to be cleared to the sidewall there. Ike now, maybe looking for a shot here. Mesgaze, maybe look at the finish. Going to put it back in the midfield. Johnny with the shot of his own, but what a save. Quarentra keeping the brick wall completely solidified, and we talked about the saves and the defense. Well, Serene Yamato proving that in the first minute. We will see a demo on the counter. Fatfish Tank looking for a shot. Both players will miss, but Mesgaze. Talk about the back post rotation. It's there.
It was important as well, keeping his side in this game here. A minute gone, 0-0 in the first game of the series. And you said it yourself, Serene Yamato, they've made plenty of saves. They made 2 so far. So it's good news for Pardus, really. It's good to see that they're getting these early shots on target. Fat Fish Tank with a chance to clear it, but Johnny keeping it up. Into the corner it goes. Mob, no boost left to work with. The wall dash coming out, but that ball sent onto the backboard. Ike is up, no shot being found this time. But pressure's still on as Johnny getting beat out by Quarentra there. Mez Games again this time, getting above one, but not past the second. Fat Fish Tank this time. Big ball into the middle. Ike there quickly, there to meet it. Onto the side it goes. Johnny with the shot, Quarentra with the save. Mez Games, he needs to get up fast. Fat Fish Tank here again to cut it out. Maybe going high, maybe going for the double. Gets the 50, the save from Ike, but still no goal found. Pressure still on, and ball finally sent away.
2 minutes in now, we've still not seen that first opening goal. We've seen, you know, shot after shot, pressure after pressure. A shot from Mov in the midfield, but no one to finish. Best Games clears to the sidewall here, maybe looking to take it into the midfield. Ike takes the touch, gets the catch, looking to get past Fat Fish Tank, but it's too big for that ball. Looking for a shot of his own, he's going to miss that one. Johnny, give it away to Mov, and it's just going to go in. And it's just patience from Mov here. Waits for the touch from the opposition. Doesn't get too aggressive and just snipes that one away.
I feel like that one kind of came out of nowhere. Johnny just wasn't moving fast enough, but Mov was there to capitalise. Opening goal here in this first game of this series. Serene Yamato up in the lead, but I'm sure that Ike and Pardus will have something to say about that one. 50 down into the midfield. Fatfish with the clearance, but Mez Games there. Pressure still on. Out wide onto the left-hand wall. Mov there to clear it away this time. The goal scorer trying to send it forward. Quarentra this time having to make another save. Can he beat Johnny up to this one this time? Johnny gets it right. 3 minutes almost gone here. Shot onto the backboard. Crossbar helping hand there for this Pardus side.
Mov from the back corner now. Taking his time, trying to get past Mez Gaines. Popped up into the midfield. Fat Fish Tank back for a shot of his own. Will fall wide into Johnny. Plenty of time here to get a flick, which he does pass one. He's got a player right behind him in the corner now, looking for an infield pass. Not going to connect to a teammate. Will fall to Quarentra instead. Just under 2 minutes left ticking on the clock. We've only seen that one goal, but we know Pardus. We know they're more than capable to get an equaliser. We almost could have seen something there, but they're looking to get themselves back in it. But every player, as you know, they found themselves on the field. It's just connecting as a team.
For me, this opening game is so important in the whole matchup. Pardus, they need to do something. They need a goal, and here it is. Johnny coming up with the goods. They didn't look like building too much, but nobody there. Quarentra just missing out on the touch. Ike with a beautiful fake though, but Johnny finds that all-important finish, bringing this Pardus side back into the game. And the point I was going to make is this first game, it is so important. Pardus know that if they don't win this first one, they need to win the next 3 in a row to reach that top spot. But Mov with the air dribble, no double coming after the bump. Quarentra this time. Ike dealing with that one comfortably. 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the clock, but time is running out.
Running out indeed. Serene Yamato cleared that one away, but it's already back into their half. That Fish Tank now taking his time. Quarentra is going to take it from him, looking for the dribble. Wins that 50 onto Johnny. Looking to be out Ike now onto the backboard. Could be a follow-up shot here from Fat Fish Tank. No shot will be found. Follow through from Mov, just falling wide. Quarentra looking for a shot of his own, falling wide again. Good pressure from Serene Yamato, but nothing clinical enough to find the back of the net. And Pardus, they'll survive on a tied game for now, but both teams are looking to extend. Maybe looking for a hero goal before an overtime.
Is overtime coming, or will we find a winner? Right now it looks like both of these sides are just going to try and hold their own in defense. Nobody overcommitting too much, not trying to force anything. But there is a chance here for Ike. The shot from midfield touched onto the side by Mov, and he's not got a lot of boost with. Again, he's going to force the 50, but it's a dangerous 50 into the centre. Quarentra with a good touch past one. Can he get past two? No, Ike is there to make the save. Mez Games this time with the clearance. Ike with a really good touch. Fat Fish this time, touch into the centre. 10 seconds left. Aerial, open net. Mez Games with the save. They've just got away with that one, but will it last long enough? Ball still in the air. Pressure not there this time. Ball clear. Ball down. Overtime in this first game of the series, but wow.
The opening game of tonight's stream, we've got an overtime. If that's not what you want from the viewer's perspective, well, I don't know what we can give you, but this is what you love to see, especially a series that is battling pretty much for the top spot if Pardus go their way and get a 3-1 or a 4-0. But we've got to focus on the overtime now. Fat Fish Tank blocked out from Mez Gaines in the blue corner now. Blocked out by Fat Fish Tank again. Both players on a double commit there. They got to recover from this. Ike, first touch, blocked out from Mov. Mov looking for the midfield pass, gets past one, maybe looking for a shot of his own, and it will be bumped from his teammate, but Mov collects the goal. 30 seconds in overtime, Simdog, and Serene Yamato are victorious for game 1.
It was just enough from Mov, and then I think it was Quarentra coming in, getting the bump on Mov, but it does end up going to Mov's name. So, 1 overtime goal, but 2 goals for Mov in that first game of the series. And defensively, you could see just how much Pardus were being pinned in. They had to make 6 saves in that game compared to half. Just 3 for Serene Yamato. And 2 of those 3 came in the opening minute of this game. So if that doesn't tell you just how long Pardus, they need to take their opening chances, but Serene Yamato, they took a while to build into the game, but as soon as they did, they just kept looking better and better, buddy. And I'm really looking forward to the second game. I do think Pardus, they have enough to come back into it, but what is it that they need to be working on?
I think with Pardus, I think Mez Gaines has really proven himself to be, a trustworthy defensive third man. We've seen it. We saw twice. He had 2 big moments where he got a really good save on the back post, just because he was playing simple rotation, simple Rocket League. And I think from Johnny and Ike, we need to see them be confident to play first and second and link up some pass and plays, or maybe test the backboard on Serene Yamato. But either way, I want to see Johnny and Ike play confidence up front, because I think Mez Gaines, he's shown to be trustworthy in the defensive backline.
Yeah, I think you're 100% spot on there. It is going to be Forbidden Temple up next in game 2 here in this only 4-game series, because of course this is the beautiful league of RSC. And I'm excited to be here again, but it feels incredible to be back, doesn't it? It's been so long since we've casted, and so far this is proving to be a very good contest and competition to come back into. I mean, game 1, it was beautiful. Can game 2 be the same? Only time will tell. Serene Yamato and Mov getting an early 50 here. Johnny and Quarentra this time battling it out on the sidewall. Ike there to get a save onto the board early on. Fatfish though sending it to the backboard. Mov not going up. Mez Games just getting that touch to the side, but Mov again coming from one side to the other. He seems to be everywhere right now. A bump from Johnny. 2 players going up from this Serene Yamato side. They need to find the chance to counter here, Pardus, but it's just not the best first touch.
In the back blue corner for now. Johnny, up past one, gets bumped. Ike looking for a shot of his own, falling wide to Mov. Popped up into the midfield here, Mov. Looking for something from the sidewall, but we dropped down to Mez Games. Looking for something, Quarentra instead will find it. Looking for a counter here, Ike. Popped up past 1, looking past 2, which he does, just 1 man left in defense. Can they capitalise? No! It's going to be a good challenge there, good block in the midfield. Quarentra, 1v1 situation, can he score this opportunity? Almost gets the dunk, but what a save from Johnny to keep it 0-0.
It's a very good carry from Quarentra, but here are Pardus on the counter. Mov again with a very good defensive touch and a good carry out to the side, but Ike's there to send it forward. Johnny just missing out on the touch here. Quarentra now needing to get this one clear. Ike into the centre again. Johnny down onto the left side of the post, back into the centre again, but Johnny just in the wrong position to go for it and find that shot on target, and maybe it's here where Serene Yamato can get the chance to go forward. Fatfish went for the ball carry, but Mez Games there to cut it out. A good 50 from Quarentra. Down into the middle it goes. Mov just going for the low shot, but Johnny well covered, but there's a bump from his own teammate, but Ike, he can recover here. Beat out by Quarentra again. Not enough sustained possession from either side right now, but maybe it won't matter. Mez Games with a shot. Save coming out from Mov. Quarentra needing to make another touch out to the corner.
Pressure is on for Serene Yamato. A shot on the crossbar, and Ike is going to be the one to open this one up. It took over 2 minutes in the first game, but in the second game, Pardus 1-0 up with Ike's first shot.
And it was a good shot at that. It didn't look like too much was coming from that play, but Ike well positioned and a well placed finish. Crossbar down, 1-0 here in game 2. Now Pardus, will they play the defensive game? Will they try to go for one more goal? That is the question. But no matter what they do against the Serene Yamato side, they need to make sure it's perfect. But Fatfish with a beautiful double touch, instantly cutting out my question and making it 1-1.
It's a beautiful shot, but that all comes from Johnny. Just gives possession away, just clears the ball in the midfield, nowhere close to a teammate, but it's beautifully punished by Fat Fish Tank. Talk about a double, that is how you do it. Take notes, other challenger players. You got to look out for that. But Johnny clearing this one downfield, looking to follow through onto Mov. Mov clears away to Mez Games, trying to find Johnny across field. Quarentra off the backboard. Maybe trying to find someone. Ike trying to keep the pressure up. A bump on the goal line. It could cause it a goal. The punishment is there. Mez Games will clean that one up. But Serene, Yamato bumped each other on the goal line. And, well, Simdog, that's definitely not something you want to be doing.
I mean, on one hand, you feel happy for Paradise knowing they're back in the lead and the chance for top spot is on. But then on the other hand, you have to feel sorry for Serene Yamato, knowing how good they are defensively. To see a defensive mishap like that come in a game of this importance is quite upsetting to see. But knowing these players, I'm sure that they will not let that get to them. They'll put their head straight back down and try to get back into the lead, like Fish Tank did last time. He almost got another double into the centre there. Instead, it's Corentra playing it down into Mov, and the goal scorer from last game is coming back and continuing with that scoring form.
Beautiful. This is what we love to see. Just a simple pass close from the backboard into the midfield. Mov's there waiting patiently. Second man position, just knows what to do. A beautiful pass and a beautiful shot. Tying up the game. That is how to do it. You don't need to go all fancy most times. A simple pass and play of Rocket League is somehow, you know, it's normally the way, Simdog, to get a goal back if you need it, and that's exactly what they did. We've already seen more goals than we saw in the last game, so maybe we can see something more, or maybe a big overtime, maybe an own goal from the ceiling here. Corretro maybe looking to capitalise, but it will be cleared out from Mike in the blue corner.
1 minute and 40 seconds left. And it is Serene Yamato on attack here into the corner. Johnny there to meet that ball. Corentra with another touch, but Ike with a good touch to the side. Mov staying with this one very well. Good speed to keep up with that ball. Corentra again sending that ball towards the backfield. Mez Games letting Ike go. Maybe for the dribble. Still recovering. Can he get around Mov? The flick pass one. Shot on target. And it ends up in a beautiful solo play from Ike there. Putting his side back into the lead for the third time in this game.
He tanks the bump and just carries on like nothing happened. Solo plays it himself into that back corner. Beautiful from Ike. He's been a star player in game number 2. If he continues this performance, we could really see Paradise go the extra mile in the series. But they've got to close out this game to carry on. Mov maybe getting the mechanics out on the wall, but not going to continue onto the ball. But he's showing off some skill that he's got in the locker. Corentra looking for a shot to the close post. Johnny with the clear for the back post. Ike now looking to collect. Mov into the midfield. Mez Games pushing up for the challenge. Does win it. Was very risky, but it does reward very well. Mez Games leaves it for Johnny. Johnny's going to put that one very, very wide. Serene Yamato now. A little bit of time to recollect possession. It's going to give it away, though. Ike maybe look for another opportunity, but Mov clears out to Mez Games. And we're reaching just to half a minute. Simdog and Serene Yamato. We need to see something. You know, we've seen the potential. We've seen the skills that they have. The question is, can they close it out when it is needed?
Well, there's 30 seconds left, and they are in desperate need of a goal to take this one to overtime if they want to keep the winning streak alive here in this series. 1-0 up in the series so far, looking at becoming 1-1 right now, unless they come up with something big at the end. Fat Fish Tank looking to get the redirect just over the defender. Corentra this time, pinch down into the centre, can Mov meet it? He can, onto the backboard, he sends it. Fat Fish Tank again into the centre off the backboard, but just a bit of miscommunication there from the Serene Yamato side, and that ball will be sent down to Paradise. The hopes for them climbing towards the top, they're getting even stronger again.
What a game to tie up the series. Paradise are back in it. Both teams have secured at least a point away from this, but obviously they're both looking for the victory at the most, of course. But, I mean, from Paradise, I mean, we literally saw Ike and Johnny step up. You know, Johnny didn't score anything, but he, you know, improved the pressure that he released on the field. And, I mean, Ike, he just improved on the shooting department, you know, getting himself into the play a lot more. We saw the solo play that he got, and that extra bit of pressure that he did compared to game 1. For Serene Yamato, I mean, it's just not finishing their chances. The amount they had, you know, they scored good goals, don't get me wrong. A double tap, a nice pass and play, but there were so many other opportunities that they could have just cleaned up.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a... What's that opposite? It's not the law of attraction. These teams are not attracted to each other. What am I going on about? It just seems like a bit of an opposite game this time round. I mean, last game we saw a lot of shots coming out from Paradise, but a lot of saves from Serene Yamato too. But here in this game, we're seeing Paradise with a lot of saves and Serene Yamato with a lot of shots. Yamato won the first game. Paradise won the second game. Is it really going to continue? Is the team with the more saves is the one that's going to win the game? Is it a defensive masterclass that is going to take them towards the series win or a series draw, depending who shows up here in this game 3? But it is 1-1 in the series here, and Johnny could be up for an early chance. Mov forced to go back, touch onto the backboard. Early chance there, and it is still on, and a big pinch there. But Mez Games gets the touch. Going here for the touch into the center. Double maybe. No, not this time. Mov with a big clearance. Ike there to meet him. And already 20 seconds gone. We could see a chance. Fat Fish Tank with the save. A shot coming in from Mike. This time from Mez Games. Ike again. And the pressure. It pays off. 1-0 very early on here to Pardus.
Already 4 shots in, shot after shot. The double commit on that shot really cost them for the final one there. But Ike, he's just got to do what he's got to do, clean it up after the 3rd shot, follows it up, cleans it away, all nice and tidy. 1-0 up. I mean, I think that's the quickest that we've seen the opening goal in this series. So it could mean something here for Pardus. Maybe they have a lot more momentum and confidence. Only time will tell. Serene Yamato are the ones that need to respond to see how this goes out. Mov to the backboard. It could be followed up here from Fat Fish Tank. It is, but it is weak and wide. Ike now looking for the counter. Mov trying to find it in the midfield. Mez Games trying to catch it. Trying to get the 50 down to Mov. Will go in favour for Mov on target, but it will be saved from Johnny. Closing in on 1 minute in, and we'll see Pardus in the lead just for now. Oh, hold on. It could be another one. It does get saved by Mov. Would it get finished? No, it goes wide, but what a save from Fat Fish Tank.
You can see how far the Pardus players are getting upfield now, but maybe it's going to cause them issues, and this time it does, from one end to the other. Serene Yamato, they counter terrifically from one to the other, and Quarencha follows up his own touch and gets the finish. Top left corner, 1-1 again.
Beautiful from the side of Serene Yamato. That is how you respond from going 1 goal down. Following up your touches, just hitting the ball, but Ike with a double demo. He is not happy about conceding, looking for revenge there. Off the blue backboard, Quarencha looking to pop this one up, maybe looking to continue this. Mov looking up for as well, a double commit. This could be punished from the side of Pardus, but it will still remain in their defense. Mez Games taking his time with the boost now. Gets past one, looking for an infield pass, blocked out from Mov. Will be dropping down. In for the taking from Johnny. Looking to follow through from the corner. Quarencha. It's going to find Ike. Ike now. Maybe looking to follow with 0 boost left in the tank. Mov. Can he make something here? Pops it up over one. Mez Games very highly, but Johnny is going to find the pass to Mez Games. I love seeing like how calm and collected both of these teams look, despite how aggressive these teams have been.
Yeah, I mean, one player that I'd like to point out is Ike. In that first game of the series, he looked like just a shadow of the former Ike that I actually knew and watched in that Sanctuary Challenger side a couple of seasons ago, but here he's looking much more comfortable now, much quicker on the ball as well. His recoveries are good, his mechanics are good, and his positioning is getting better by the game, and that will be crucial here for Pardus if they want to go on and win this series. Again, currently, for those who might just be tuning in, it is 1-1 in the series here. We are on to game 3, and it's 1-1 in game 3 as well, but here is a touch from Mez Games, gets it past one, but Quarencha there, this time taking it to his own corner. Ike into the centre, beautiful pass to Johnny, no shot being found, and Mez Games just overcommitting slightly too far. Quarencha has to take control and does exactly that, putting the Serene Yamato side 1 goal to the good.
It starts off from a beautiful touch for Fat Fish Tank, and Quarencha is like, hey, wait a minute, this is an open net, I'm taking the goal, we're putting us in the lead, and that's how they do it. Serene Yamato 1-0 down in the first 30 seconds, but have clawed their way back into the lead. But Quarencha's 2 goals set up by Fat Fish Tank with just over 2 minutes left ticking, looking to hold the lead. Johnny off the side of the backboard, followed through, cleared by Mov now. Will be in the blue half for a second. Best Games will get demoed for Fat Fish Tank. Johnny to Ike. Ike looking to get back to Johnny. Johnny from the corner looking to find something in the midfield, but it will be missed there for Fat Fish Tank. Mez Games, probably not the touch that he was looking for. Quarencha with a shot on target. Ike has to save it off the crossbar. Gets lucky. Fat Fish Tank, sorry. Looking for the shot off the ceiling. But it gets saved from Ike. You said Ike was a standout player, and you know what? You're correct. He continues to prove the comment that you've made.
Yeah, I think maybe from now on you should focus on calling him Fish Tank rather than what you were going to say. But there is Johnny potentially going for this ball. Ike deciding to go backwards. Bit of a fake challenge coming out from Johnny there. Maybe they're trying to allow that pressure and welcome it in, but right now, It's not going to work to plan at all. They extend their lead 2 goals now. They have that security goal heading into the final minute of the game. Pardus, they just didn't want to challenge that ball in Yamato. They have made them pay for it. The pressure has finally paid off. There's been a lot of saves, 5 saves, from Serene Yamato, but they have had so many shots too, and it's paying off right now. But here is Ike out on the side, searching for not 1 but 2 goals in this final minute of the game. But there could be another one for Korancha, and Yamato instead. It is Fish Tank again, his 2nd of the game, the 4th for Serene Yamato. It's safe to say that the floodgates are wide open.
Yeah, now starting to look very, very comfortable. 11 shots to the team's name, opposing to, I believe it would be 6 shots for Pardus. Serene Yamato, they're looking more comfortable, and you know, Pardus, they can't let them just walk away with this in the last minute. They need to regain that momentum, regain, you know, mentality, because going into that next game, Serene Yamato, they're probably going to be very, very confident if, you know, they're coming off a 4-1 victory compared to the first 2, but there's still some time to play out. Mezgame's looking for a shot of his own, will be in the box here. Fish Tank in the back corner now. 6 boosts to his name, not going to do too much. Fakes out the challenge. Coentra looking to continue into the blue corner. Mezgames leaves it for his teammate Ike. Mov gets past 1, give it away to Mezgames. Mezgames is going to try to find Ike. Ike with the demo, does it go on target? No, it pops up onto the backboard. Mezgames not going to find something from it. It was a good demo play attempt, but not finished from the shot.
And there's 15 seconds left. 3 goal difference, almost 4 there. Well, make that 2, or is that an open net miss? No, it's just sneaking in, but it's just a consolation here in game 3 for Pardus. Serene Yamato, they will be moving on to game 4, feeling very, very confident. It's looking like they're going to be getting that 2-1 series win, unless we see some late magic here from Pardus. But 7 seconds, I mean, it's possible mathematically, but will it happen with a kickoff like that? You don't think it will. Another shot coming in. Mezgames with the touch away, and that one is going to go down 4-2 to Serene Yamato. 2-1, heading into the 4th and final game of this series.
It's a great win for them as well. You know, Fish Tank really popped off. You know, whenever he got the ball on the field, he made sure he made as much, you know, opportunities he could. You know, with 2 goals, 2 assists, and 2 saves. He was just everywhere on the field. But Mov with 4 saves, the brick wall for his team in that game. And then Korencha with 2 goals of his own, just, you know, finding whatever he could whenever he got the ball in play. It was a great, great game for Serene Yamato. For Pardus, you know, it was a good start. You know, we saw them have, you know, their opportunities, but to be honest, Simdog, it didn't feel there was as much potential in that game compared to the other 2, if I gotta be honest. Yes, they scored 2, but I just don't feel like that was as strong as we've seen as a team. Obviously, Ike, he's playing phenomenal. Johnny had his play as well. Mezgames, you know, they're all playing their part, but as a team, I don't think it's as strong as we saw them in that second game.
Oh, I mean, I think you're 100% correct there. I mean, again, Ike was the standout player in that game 3 there. He was practically all over the pitch. Johnny, again, he was good, but just a couple of missed touches here, but it's a mechanical error. Mezgames, though, in the opening 2 games, he saw him cutting out those midfield booming clears very well, but in that game 3 there, they just seemed to flutter away. You didn't really see them much anymore. Instead of Pardus trying to win that midfield battle, they were just allowing Serene Yamato to enter their half and take those shots, but that's where they were going wrong, because they couldn't make the saves afterwards. But this game, I think that honestly, if Pardus just tried to attack more, they tried to get a bit more field domination, maybe try to go for that midfield battle again, we could see something more. But we need to see something more, especially if they want to be walking away from this with a 2-2 draw. There is an early chance here, and they're going for the midfield touches this time. Johnny just missing out on the double. Mezgames trying to keep this one alive, but here is Mov. Johnny staying for the 50. Korencha with the follow-up. The shot sent sideways by Ike, but the shot coming in again from Fat Fish Tank. Johnny with a touch to the side.
Ike now, a good challenge. Dropping it to the red box here. Cleared away back into the blue half. Mezgames looking for the challenge onto Korencha. Falling to the sidewall. Fat Fish Tank now. Looking for a shot. Will be on target. Mezgames with the clear to Ike. Maybe Ike looking for the midfield back-to-back 1-2 pass, but Mezgames looking for the finish on that one. We're closing in on a minute. Not seeing that quick goal like we saw last game, but that just shows how both teams have really, you know, calmed down, calmed the aggression a little bit. Instead of whiffing, they're actually looking to find the connection to the ball. Ike challenges, beats 2. The shot from Johnny hits the post. An opportunity wasted down the drain. It was a
Oh.
great touch. Ike with the save. Oh my, Ike. What more can he do?
How on earth is this happening? Johnny goes from practically missing an open net, and then you see the... What even was it? Was it just a musty? Was it... I can't even remember from Fish Tank. And then you see Ike making the beautiful save. Nothing coming from it just yet, but the pressure is on here. Johnny into the corner, following Mov, but Mov getting the better of him this time, getting it out to the side, trying to find it centrally, just keeping it out wide instead. Ike this time going up, trying to get the second touch. Trying to go beneath Fish Tank, getting the save again on the board, getting the pinch maybe, past Johnny. Mezgame's going to have to be there, touch to the side. Johnny just out of position again, flick past one, flicking to the centre maybe. Yes, it is. Mezgame's just mispositioned a tiny bit, and how on earth have 2 minutes already gone in this game?
Actually crazy to think. It did not feel like 2 minutes already. A demo from Johnny. Mezgame's with a chance, maybe looking for a block there, but Mov takes his time in the corner. 0 boost to his name, though. Not going to have to do too much. A demo from Ike. This could be an opportunity, but no, the defender gets back in time. A double commit on the offense there from Pardus. Korencha clears that one away. Buys a little bit of time for his team now. Maybe looking for a play as well from the corner. Upped onto Johnny, but Johnny will find the clear out to the side. No touch will be found. Best Games misses as well. Ike pops up in the midfield. Fat Fish Tank. A free touch there to the side. A bump there onto Johnny. Just say, hey, no, this is my ball. Get away from me. Trying to find an infield pass here from Mov. Intercepted from Ike. And we're now seeing both teams just go back and forth, trying to find something. But this is where the defense comes up from both sides that we've seen all series long. But I might have cast a curse to them at this point. Yes, I have. Surely. No. Fish Tank on the back post. This is incredible.
And only 2 minutes left here in this game, and we are still at a 0-0 stalemate. But there's a beautiful bump and a beautiful shot. Although he doesn't get the assist, that bump made it all the better and all the easier here for Mov. Korencha, absolutely brilliant from him. Finally with the opening goal here, 1-0 to Serena Mato. They are looking like they will be moving on with the win, but there is still so much time left. But with kickoffs like that, Mov, crossbar down, Korencha needs to get there, but Johnny just doing enough, brother.
Just does enough, and looking for the counter already onto Ike. Ike looking for the air dribble here, trying to get past Korencha. Good interception there. Followed through by Fish Tank, gets past one, maybe looking for a shot here. Could maybe beat Johnny to it. Will just fall wide though. Johnny, a little bit of time on the backboard. Looking to find something. Intercepted by Korencha. Ike up for that one. Gets the beat, will be into the midfield. Fish Tank to the side, maybe hoping to find a teammate off of that with a double commit from the Pardus side, but they will not get punished. We're approaching that minute mark. Ike in the red corner looking for the infield pass, and it won't connect to a teammate. It will indeed connect to a defender.
He's doing all he can right now, Ike. But here he is, trying to find the shot. Can he beat Korencha? No, he can't, but he can leave it to his teammate. Maybe get the bump, just not getting in the way of Mov. Instead, here is Mov. Good 50 into that back corner. Fat Fish Tank just missing out on the ball here, but allowing the ball to move backwards towards Korencha again. Ike with a big clearance, but he will not be able to keep the pressure up here. Fish Tank over to Korencha. Mov leaving that one, allowing himself to go for the follow-up here. Mezgame's getting the better. Ike with the mistouch again, and they just get a chance to boom it forward again. Fish Tank needing to pick up on that boost. Ike slowing it down, trying to go past one, and that is just not going to work out for Pardus. When you need a goal, you do not want to be allowing these kind of chances to go in. They are making it harder for themselves, but Serena Mato, that challenge, it was good, it was quick, and it ends in a goal.
It's unfortunate timing from Pardus, but it's a little bit of awareness as well. Mezgames needs to visualize that the player is approaching that ball, and he looks to rotate onto the right hand side to maybe look for a pass or something, but it's gonna danger them into a 2-0 deficit now. Under 20 seconds left, it's possible, but they need a hero. Korencha with the shot off the post. Ike now looking for the flick, blocked up by Fish Tank, I believe. Looking to follow through with another shot. The pressure is up. I mean, Serena Yamato probably got this one secured. A demo from Fish Tank. Korencha now keeping the ball up in play. Are we going to see the 0 seconds kept alive? Fish Tank looking in the midfield. Korencha looking for the shot. It would have gone in with more time, but it is over. And Simdog, we have a winner. We have a team who came out victorious in such a back-to-back series. That was so close.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we said it will either be first place, going even further clear at the top, or it will be fourth place catching up, going level, or going first themselves. So it will be good. It is good to see that Serena Yamato, they can solidify their position there at the top. They'll be very happy with their performance. Pardus, I don't want them to be upset. I want them to be somewhat happy with the performance that they brought today. Yes, they've gone now 6 games under, I think, under Serena Yamato, but it was a decent performance. It was a good performance, and it's a sign of things to come. I think come to the last stages of the season, we'll still be seeing Pardus high up around this top 4, top 3 area. So it's a good performance to build from. But Serena Yamato, they'll be overjoyed right now. They'll be full of confidence heading into the final game of the week for them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, before going into this series, Serena Yamato, they were unbeaten in the last 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws. And now I believe the last 5 will now be 4 wins and 1 draw. So Serena Yamato looking like the hot team in Glacies for Challenger right now. But for Pardus, they will end their 3-win streak with a loss. But it's... Oh, I don't want to say it's a good loss, but it's a loss that you can learn from. You played good individually and as a team, but it's a series that shows that the little weak points are the difference of why you're not in that first place spot. So if they look over those replays and kind of point out what went wrong, they can really improve from that series and bounce back. That's what you got to love about the top matchups. If you're losing just so closely, obviously it hurts. Obviously you want to win, but you can learn a lot from it.
Yeah, you really can. And that's the important thing here for Pardus. They need to not let themselves get down about this loss, because to them, it should be a win, really, playing against a team who haven't lost all season long. Now, after that game, they have 6 wins and 3 draws. It was a good performance, but they can look at it, like you said, and they can work on these tiny little things that will just bring them to the next level. And it's crucial to be seeing those things. And that even works in the case of Serena Yamato as well, because they can watch the replays. They can look at what they did wrong in the game loss. They can look at what they did wrong during the games that they did win, but it looked like they were going to concede a bit more, because they could have been more dominant. Of course they could. But now they can work on these things, playing against a good team like Pardus.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, either way, it's congrats to both teams. All players, they showed their efforts on the field. There's a reason they're in their placing on the standings, and they showed that today. Maybe not the result that some expected from the players' point of view, but that's how it works. It's whoever shows the most and performs the best on the day. And, well, that was Serena Yamato, Simdog. And by tradition, when you have a champion in a series, we've got to get an interview. But the question is, when the whole team plays that good, it's a very tough decision to make who we bring in.
Yeah, it is. However, we have the choice. Of course, we were talking about Ike for Pardus. He was a bit of the standout player. And whilst again, Serena Yamato, you said it themselves, every single one of the players, they were performing well. They were performing to a very good level. But for me, Mov was just on a level above the other two. Don't get me wrong, the other two were absolutely brilliant as well, but Mov was absolutely incredible himself.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't disagree. I would accept any of the 3 players to come for the interview. They all deserve it. But Mov is the selected player, so if you're listening, if you could try and get into a VC closest to the bottom as you can, so we could get you in and ask you a few questions. But I mean, looking for the future whilst we wait for these teams. Pardus, I can't, was that their second series? I do not know. But if they have another series this week, I hope we see them bounce back. I hope we see them regain from a tough loss. And I mean, for the side of Serena Yamato, I mean, they're just going to be looking to continue dominance at this point. Maybe looking to hold that #1 spot for the rest of the season after the Christmas break.
Yeah, I mean, the Christmas break. Well, I tell you what, that Christmas break actually went very quickly. It feels like there was barely a break in between games being played. But yeah, this is the first week back since that Christmas break. And just as he arrives, Mov, even though you did have that 2-week break in between Christmas, what did you actually do anything during those moments to actually try and build on the performances that you'd made earlier in the season?
Not in the Christmas break. I didn't play much. I don't know about my teammates, but first time I played was the series, the first series last week we played, and thought I'd be rusty, but looks like we're doing fine.
Sorry, Sim. Look, well, Mov, I'll ask you the opening question here. Yeah, going into this series, you know, obviously you're the top seed going into this game. Was there any kind of expectation of, you know, this is a team we need to be aware of? You know, they could take us away for a draw or a win of their own. You know, was there any kind of expectation going up against Pardus?
Yeah, we played Pardus before. We played it in one of the first weeks of the season, and I do remember it being very tough actually. So we really had to definitely not underestimate our opponent. We know they're quite high on the table, and we know we had a very tough series. We drew them, I think, 2-2 in the first match we played, and it was really close. So we really didn't have to. I mean, we did want to play our game because we know if we play our game, we can beat anyone in Challenger. But yeah, we watched replays before this, and we made sure that we know what to do against this specific team.
Nice. I mean, that's what I like to hear. I'll give you another one. You know, but when you finally dropped that first game against Pardus, was there anything that was changed in the communication? You know, was there something that needs to be improved? Did anything click, or was it just regain, reset, and go from there?
To be honest, I'd call the map the MVP for us in the third game. Fat Fish Tank knows he is peaking on that map, and we just all went into it confident. We know that loss doesn't change anything. We know we can take it all the way anyway.
That's fair enough. Well, Sendog, I'll pass over to you. I'm sure you've got some good questions for Moth here.
Yeah, I mean, the key one is actually going back onto your first answer. So you said that you drew 2-2 with them earlier on in the season. Now you beat them 3-1. Do you think that is a cause for the other Challenger teams in your conference to be scared? Because you drew 2-2 early on when you were unbeaten. I mean, you've gone unbeaten still, and you're winning today, which just shows that you're making progress and you're improving as a team. So by the end of the season, can you keep that unbeaten streak in league play going?
Well, hopefully, I won't say anything that would jinx us, but hopefully, we're trying to get better every week we play. And yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not the team we played today is better than the team we played in the first couple of weeks, right? So every team is improving. We have to we have to do the same if we want to stay on top.
Yeah, some really good answers there. Thank you, Mob, for joining us for that little interview, and very well played to you and your team as well. Taking home that 3-1 win. Team Serene Yamato, versus Pardus. Well, that is all for us in this first game here on stream, but I personally will be leaving, but you will be staying for some Premier action. Wicked Sailors versus Fearless Esports, your own org, no bias. We'll catch you in a bit.
out of bed these past few days. Think it's fair to be proud about it. I've quit ordering from all those fast food chains. I'm feeling better, there's no doubt about it. And my days are brighter, my shoulders are so much lighter. Just for a moment there, I thought that there was nothing more to life. I thought about it, wrote a couple songs about it. Just for a moment there, I lost myself. Mind if I be real for a minute? It's almost like everything I feel had a limit. It now gone past. Finding reasons to smile and to laugh, and whenever it's a bad day, music is my band-aid. All the lights, spent an hour with my memories, and then I realized it's not all black and white. Like I was colorblind, but mentally, yeah. Now my days are brighter, just no longer feeling tired. I don't wear my PJs every day, cause I would rather be on site. I thought about it, wrote a couple songs about it. Just for a moment there, I lost myself. Whenever it's a bad day, music is my band.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Like a phoenix, you burst in a burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Hold me up, baby, me in your arms. Oh, hold me not to go you up. Hey, you like waiting up. You like waiting up. You. Hold me up, baby, me in your arms. Oh, hold me not to go you up. Hey, you like waiting up. You like waiting up. You.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the RSC. We're here for some Premier Tier action. So for the Premier Tier, we're in Week 3. They do start a bit later compared to normal league play for the other 5 tiers. But for this series, I'm not here with Simdog. I'm here with another GOAT. He goes by the name of Psycho. Welcome, my friend. I believe this is our first time casting together. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
I think you're bang on the money, and I'm looking forward to this series because you have been someone that I've watched in the RSC space for quite some time, I must say. So it's a pleasure to be alongside you. But this is our first cast, and by the looks of things, it could be a banger as well. There are some great talents on the field as we have made our way all the way through to the premier match for tonight, Wicked Sailors versus Fearless Esports.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. And I just realised as well, today, at the exact same time, Centurions and Oblivion are playing each other. And that makes a massive, crazy shuffle in the standings if something happens today. But obviously, we're focused on Wicked Sailors and Fearless Esports. Just to give a run through for the viewers of the standings. So Wicked Sailors, they're in second position right now. They've had a win and a draw. They've not dropped a series in a loss. So, they're looking good. They're looking on form, but they've just come off a draw. So Wicked Sailors, they're going to be looking for a bounce back. And for Fearless Esports, not kind of the same situation. They've had one draw and one loss coming off a draw as well. So, Psycho, both teams really looking for a win here after both drawing their last series.
Absolutely so, and I have to say, Wicked Sailors actually being present in the RSC space for this season is really going to change things, I reckon. This is a team of so much caliber and presence in the European bubble space as well. A team that has gone on to take just weekly tournament after weekly tournament. They've shown their domination pretty much everywhere else but RSC, and maybe this is one of the few times we'll get to see them in action.
I mean, domination, that's what I like to hear. We saw it a couple seasons ago, we saw Luna Esports dominate the Premier Tier. Could we see that from Wicked Sailors today and the rest of league play? Well, we're going to find out very shortly, but we got to get a prediction going, Psycho. If you got to give a team the win or maybe a draw, who are you favouring at this point?
So, traditionally in the past, I'm going to be honest with you, but every time I seem to cast Wicked Sailors, they win. They just absolutely slap. So I'm going to go with a convincing sweep the direction of Wicked Sailors, because I don't think that curse is going to change, and I'm going to be a little bit ruthless today.
A sweep? That's a dig. Obviously, I'm biased. This is my own team, but I think I'll settle in the middle with a draw. I'm going to be positive. I know from Larson himself, he said this is probably this is the second most challenging team they've got to play. They've played Bolarai Carry, so, they're expecting this to be a very tough matchup, but game number 1 is now underway. Wicked Sailors in the blue, and we'll have Fearless Esports in the red. Game number 1 underway. Who's going to take it? Well, we'll find out in a rough 5 minutes of Great Rocket League.
Absolutely, and there is a little bit of a shift in terms of the roster dynamics here today, and that is the sub that Wicked Sailors have brought in for this particular game. Jelly is replacing a captain of old in Exter, who's very much been present in the space for a very long time, as Koku's going to tip this one down in the corner. Yup, trying to loft this one high, and a free clearance back for Jelly.
Wasn't popping that one down. A good challenger in the midfield. Yup now, taking control of the ball. Larson with the demo. The shot off the post, off the crossbar. It does go in. I thought we were going to have a little bit of post whiff there in the first minute, but a great demo play there from Larson.
Lovely start for Fearless. That is for sure. They had very much the confidence downfield to lunge for that bump. The space was given for Yup. He made the shot a little bit more difficult than perhaps needed to be, but if Fearless Esports are really going to thrive in this series, I reckon that confidence early on is really going to help them.
Confidence is key. Jelly trying to put some pressure on. Koku now from the sidewall looking for an infield pass, gets past one, looking for the shot. Will be blocked out from Wasn't. Down into Puppy now, pops it up. Yup now, taking control of the ball in the air, maybe looking for a shot of his own, will be blocked out from Jelly. Koku trying to convert onto the counter. A minute has passed. Wicked Sailors, we've not seen something clinical yet, but they have shown, you know, signs of potential already, and you know they're looking dangerous either, you know, despite not scoring a goal yet.
Yeah, and I reckon that one of the really key factors to this team when they do thrive is sort of their possessional sort of presence on the field. That's a little cheeky drop down from Koku. Jelly, the player to tuck that one in the back of the net. Maybe a lapse in concentration from Fearless Esports, but so much pace from Koku to find that second touch. You really can't blame them for it.
Pressure after pressure for Fearless Esports. It fumbles on the back wall. Wicked Sailors already back in it, looking to win the kickoff there. Jelly with the demo. Larson finding the reset. It's going to fail to get past Puppy though. Koku off the corner. It's going to be a free clear there for Wasn't. Into Larson. Back into the midfield. Yup, could find it. Intercepted by Puppy. Wasn't now looking for the read off the corner. Not able to find it. Yup, now into the midfield. Larson with the shot. A beautiful infield pass there. And Larson with the finish. Fearless Esports back in the lead.
Make it two and make it quick. That's a lovely little infield pass. And it completely caught that third man on Wicked Sailors in Jelly, completely unawares. He was already pressuring almost downfield towards the edge of his box as that pass came through. Certainly something they didn't expect. And this one from Yup is also looking deadly, as well as the third does go in. Was Wazian to try and tip this one central. Just that kickoff which really caused issues for Wicked Sailors, and well, there really is a lot of work to be done.
Work to be done indeed. A great kickoff to get that 2-goal lead, but there's still plenty of time of Rocket League. Wicked Sailors could easily bring this one back as long as they just get on the front foot. Puppy now in his own corner. It's going to leave it for Koku there. Gets past one, looking to get past the second. Jelly now with a good touch upfield. Larson looking for the save, pops this one down. Off the sidewall now for Puppy into the midfield to Koku. Blocked up from Wasn't. Will be in the red corner though. Could be pressure here for Wicked Sailors off the corner. Will be Yup. Trying to get past Jelly. Wasn't now. Trying to find something here down the line in the midfield. A bump there from Yup, I believe. Larson with a clinical challenge there in the third man position. Both sides now trying to find something in the possessional game of Rocket League. And for Wicked Sailors, what do you think is that little extra they need to be doing, Psycho, to get themselves back into this?
I've got to say, it's a very difficult question to answer, especially in these early stages of the series. I just think it was a small lapse towards the start of this series, and often is the case. This one's dropped down towards Poopy though, and an open opportunity. Wazian just on the back lines, clawed himself across just to make that save in the nick of time, and they're killing some time off the clock as well, and this could be a 4 for Larson as Koku has to bail his team out to the rescue.
Koku blocked out from Wasn't. Looking for the dunk, which he does. Zero's left in the tank, trying to follow through to build some pressure. Jelly off his own back wall there. Looking to get this one across outfield. Pass one in the midfield. Larson with a good challenge. Poopy to the corner. Wasn't. Has to get a crucial touch here. Blocked out from Poopy onto the front post, but Yup is going to clear that one away. Wasn't. Away to the midfield. It's going to get past Jelly. The demo there from Larson. Open up for a shot. We're blocked out from, I believe, Poopy on the front post. A good save to keep them in it by a 2-goal deficit. Still, Wicked Sailors looking for goal number 2, but Fearless Esports keeping up the pressure. Oh.
It might not be for too long though, as that counter-attacking opportunity really looks like it maybe could have been converted. Yup though, just coming down from the crossbar, he has absolutely no hope to get this ball across his own back lines. A wonderful little shot from Jelly.
Beautiful shot tight into the right-hand corner. Don't think the defense expected that on target. Well, this is what we love about the Premier Tier, Psycho. Anything can happen. You could be 2 goals up, but you can't take it for granted. Wicked Sailors, this is a respectable roster. You cannot count them out. Plenty of time for them to find an equaliser here, down into the midfield. Koku looking for a shot past one. Will be up with the save, though. Looking to take possession here in the corner. Jelly looking for something from the backboard. Drop down. Wasn't. To the sidewall. Another touchdown with the second. Looking to follow through with 0 boost to his name. Gets a bump, but it will be Jelly to clear that one out. Wicked Sailors, just over half a minute left. Can they equalise, or will it be Larson onto the backboard? Looking to follow through. Fearless Esports looking to hold for the Game 1 victory.
There's very little time left on the clock for Wicked Sailors to make a difference, as Koku does find a teammate infield. A second touch found, but the keeper does just about gets his mitts on it, as Koku's going to slow roll this one towards the back post, and Jelly there in support to finish the job. And you said that especially in this Premier Tier, you cannot really take your lead for granted. It was as quickly as a flash, really bite you back.
Well, there's a way to tie it up. It was a good save and a demo at the start for Fearless, but the defence ended up to crumble with the Wicked Sailor pressure. Could be another one, but wasn't on the save. Not going to let that one slide through. 6 seconds left on the clock. People with the demo, they could be looking for the winning goal here. The reset from Koku on the post! And Jenny cleans that one up. As painful it is for me to see that go in, it's a beautiful play set up from Koku.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And poor Larson, his front post, he timed his jump to near perfection to get in between the other player and his own back lines, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. Wicked Sailors are taking this game on, and what a comeback that was. Maybe 3 goals scored in the span of maybe a minute or so of play when they looked down and out initially, with the level of control that Fearless Esports were providing. Really impressive comeback from them.
I mean, well deserved. I mean, obviously, Fearless Esports, they started strong, but it just shows that you need to be consistent, because Wicked Sailors, they really brought that one back out of, obviously, 3-1 down. I mean, Jelly had a superb performance, getting himself all 4 goals with 7 shots of pressure. Obviously, Koku and Poopy, putting up their end of the bargain with their assists and saves and just, their presence on the field. I mean, with Wicked Sailors, they had such good pressure. When they were on offense, it was just, you were forced to be on the back wall every second of it, and that just really proved in that opening game.
I think you're absolutely right, and just to reflect again on the player who did score all 4 goals for Wicked Sailors, that's the inverted commas substitute, which I was told about nicely in advance by the team's GM, and that did give me some small nerves, some small worries as to what sort of a performance we can expect when the roster, which has really sort of worked together across the European bubble scene for so long, is disrupted just that little bit, just that small change. It can often make such a big difference. Not today, it seems.
Not today. Game 2 coming up on Forbidden Temple. Can things change in the series score, or will it remain Wicked Sailors going for 2-0 up? Larson off the kickoff. Maybe look for an opening shot. Saved up from Poopy onto the backboard now. Jelly going to put that one away into the corner. Looking to follow through with a good second touch. Koku not going to find it. Wasn't looking for the read, but it will be saved out from Poopy. A very good shot from Wasn't, but not enough to find the opening goal.
What
a good
a
bump
bump
there, but what a save from Wasn't. It was a great bump, but the defensive rotation was there.
It certainly was, and downfield, Yup has almost found a teammate in Wazian yet again, as Koku's going to slow play this individually. A nice little flick up towards Poopy, who does lace the ball down to the offensive corner. Wicked Sailors already trying to tighten their grip. That shot's gone wide of the mark, and with Koku's capabilities, that could have been a goal right there.
I mean, we saw how dangerous their capabilities were last game with that reset onto the post. Anything could happen. Wasn't now. Looking to get this one past. 4 boost left in the tank. Not able to continue with that one. Larson blocked out with Jelly. Poopy now. Good challenge there with Yup. Blocked out into the back end for Fearless Esports. A minute has gone. No opening goal so far. Larson looking to be the first man for this one, in charge onto the backboard. Bouncing down. Jelly with the touch. Followed from Wasn't. The demo from Koku is going to shut Larson out of that play. The pressure here. Yup now looking for the read off the backboard, but what a save from Koku. I mean, Premier, they just make it better and better minute by minute.
Absolutely, and it was just the discipline and patience from Koku there. He knew that no matter how hard that ball's going to be shot, if he just takes his time, he'll get up in time, and Jelly trying to find Koku. Yet again, downfield Poopy to the backboard. A second touch to his name, but it is blocked away. That shot is saved away. A backflip touch from Wozzy, and it looks almost natural to him, but such an uncomfortable position it was. He did a great job there.
Pops this one up high, looking for a shot of his own. Both players missing the ball, but yup, on the back post, is going to clear that one out. Look at the follow through with a block into the midfield. Jelly trying to find a teammate. It's going to continue with a solo play. Intercepted from Larson. No second touch will be found. Koku looking for something, looking for Jelly. Back to the other side. A bit of ping pong there, wall to wall, but it's going to work in their favour. Looking to find something in this corner. Larson failed to find the challenge. Poopy with the demo. It's an open net. Surely it's a goal. Yes, it is. Jelly scoring the 5th goal for himself and Wicked Sailors.
Very impressive performance from this player so far, and like you mentioned, just sort of going from side to side, corner to corner were Wicked Sailors, and they were pulling that defence thin, opening up their spacing so much, and that last player was the only hope of Fearless Esports in that rotation, and well, they chose to wipe him off the field. That was job done.
Larson trying to find something up to the backboard, but it will be Jelly there waiting. Wasn't now. Just failed to get the block onto Jelly. Popped up into the midfield. Koku looking for a shot of his own. Maybe looking for the double, looking for the read. Not going to find it. Poopy with the shot of his own. Just slotted away to the close of the post of Fearless Esports. The defence starting to fail on them.
Maybe so, and I reckon if there is potentially a time to be worried, if you are in support of this Fearless Esports roster, maybe now is the time. Wicked Sailors just seem to be turning it up a gear. They have so much offensive presence on the field right now, and they're not just doing it willy-nilly either. They are keeping the opposition completely locked back as another demo comes through from Koku, just to try and solidify that sort of pressure they've worked hard to maintain.
Yup now. Finding something from the corner. Poopy with a good challenge. Another second challenge as well. Could be a good reason here for the counter. Gets past Larson as well. He's doing everything at this point. Gets the flick over to the far post. No finish will be found. That was so much work done from Poopy from one end to the other, but could just not get finished. Into the back of the net. Off the corner though from Jelly. Front post from Wasn't. It's going to clear and keep that one away for now. Koku into Jelly. Good pinch tail to the backboard. Yup now has to find a touch, which he does. Still a chance for Koku though. Finds the reset. Looking from the corner here with many multiple touches, but won't find a teammate.
And that was absolutely a showing of confidence from Koku more than anything. He had so many options to work with and went for the flashy play, but flashiness, not the name of the game for Fearless Esports. They knew exactly where they were on the field. The infield pass was sharp, and Larson, whether or not he wanted that follow-up touch, he found a teammate central. Beautiful finish as well.
Just under a minute and a half left on the clock. Wicked Sailors, they are leading by 1, but as we saw last game, I mean, with a lead, anything can happen at this point. But Wicked Sailors probably in favour for taking the win here from probably a supporter's perspective. Larson popping that out into the midfield. Koku into Jelly. Jelly looking for a back pass into Poopy into the midfield. Will be blocked out from Yup. Wasn't now looking for the counter. Bump onto Koku. Could create something here for Larson. Trying to find a pass to Wasn't into the midfield, but Yup is not going to be there to connect. Could have almost seen a team play there. Fearless Esports trying to find something, but Wicked Sailors, I think they're going to be looking to stick to simple Rocket League, maybe just hold this.
What a shot!
What? I say simple Rocket League, but no, just score a goal like that.
What? Koku, whatever you're on, I want some of it, because that was gorgeous. That pre-flip, completely unexpected to the whole of the defense to Fearless Esports, and pretty much everyone in the booth right now as well, I think it's fair to say.
Oh my, that is all I can say. They will get one back. Yup, score one. But I don't think you're going to outclass Koku's goal in this game unless you can do something miraculous.
It's going to take a miracle, and we did see a specific miracle in Game 1 for Wicked Sailors to really fight their way back into contention. But right now, it's going to look like maybe an even bigger challenge for this Fearless Esports side right now, as an infield pass from Jelly tries to find its way towards Koku. I'm sure is still buzzing after that beautiful goal just seconds ago. 30 seconds left on the clock now, and Fearless Esports, they need to find a way out of their own back lines to work something downfield, but that's such a difficult task against a team like this.
Beautiful pass there from Jelly. Gets the challenge in the corner. Koku's just there waiting patiently. He's going to put that one away in the corner. Scores a banger goal and says, you know what? Why not score another goal? Let's just get number 2. Number 3, it may be in the questions on the book. Larson on the kickoff. Blocked out from Koku. 20 seconds left on the clock now. Wicked Sailors looking for another. Koku. Beautiful. I believe that is his hat trick, and what a way to score it.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the most delicious hat tricks I've seen in RLCS history. RSC history, but potentially RLCS as well. I know we're sort of going leaps and bounds here towards RLCS, but when was the last time you saw a player performance with goals as juicy as that? I can't really remember any.
Maybe I've seen one juicy goal, but to, score those 2 other goals as well, probably not a juicy hat trick in my mind of memory, but, well, now there is for 2023 for me, and it is going by the player Koku.
Yeah, and I think definitely the MVP performance, I think it's fair to say, for this particular game, but the series is still in its youth, plenty of time left to go, and Fearless Esports, some of that solidity we saw on their own back lines in Game 1 throughout such a long period of that game, maybe 3 to 4 minutes of pure domination from them, seemed to be lacking in this game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just look at stats just alone. What we see 14 shots from Wicked Sailors, and from Fearless Esports, we're only seeing 6. Normally, averagely 6 shots is enough to take a game. But when you're playing Wicked Sailors, who are constant pressure and dominating you in that midfield, 6 shots is not going to make it if you're not putting every single chance in the back of the net, and if the defense isn't holding as strong.
Yeah, and the really difficult part for Fearless during this sort of break time is to figure out what's going wrong, because the first game just sort of seemed to slip out of their grasp as per the Wicked Sailors just onslaught in those final dying seconds. But in this game, they really were down and out. So it's a question of what can they do to pull themselves back into the series. And even from a spectating point of view, I feel it's so difficult, because Wicked Sailors right now, their pace is so fierce to even gain control of the ball and possession of the turf for even more than maybe, 20 seconds of play at most. It's going to be such an uphill battle from here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can tell from Wicked Sailors, even if Fearless Esports decide, okay, we need to play faster, Wicked Sailors, they can play that speed. They've proven that. They've been playing that little extra speed compared to Fearless Esports. So for Fearless here, they've got to find a game plan that's really going to, take off the weakness that Wicked Sailors have, which we do not know what that is so far. Will they find it? We will not know. We've got 2 more games of Rocket League to find out. But Wicked Sailors looking to find one more game to secure the win in this series.
That would be such a nice way to start off this season for Wicked Sailors, as Wozyan, he tried to connect with that flip, he tried to wrap himself around and get a nice bit of power there, but nothing gives as Koku does fake out that first player. Wozyan alone at the back, actually helped out by Yup here, and Jelly with a wide open path towards net, the counter-attack. It looks like it could be fierce, but maybe not in that manner.
I just saw that fake there from Koku onto Larson. He just sent him to the other map that we've just played, completely out of the map, and the opening goal with just 40 seconds in. I mean, Wicked Sailors at this point, I think the confidence and the momentum is there, especially from that performance we saw in game number 2. Fearless Esports, they've got to regain as a team. They probably have, this is high-level Rocket League. I'm sure they know how to control mentality and get themselves back into it, but anything can happen. Wicked Sailors looking comfortable for now as they are on the attack. Looking for a play here. Yup, just going to clear that one away into Larson. The touch to the sidewall into the midfield. Yup, now maybe trying to find an opportunity, but it will be just given away to Koku there. Down into Jelly. Back to their own backboard. Could be a free shot here for Yup, and it is just going to be an open net. You know what, Psycho? We'll take those.
Power to them, to be completely frank, as Yup does get bumped straight back into a shooting opportunity, and it was a nice bit of work actually from Fearless to dig themselves out of defense quickly as well after Wicked Sailors' previous attacks. They really were doing a good job of baiting out those really aggressive first men from Wicked Sailors, and maybe that is the strategy. Just play it slow at your own back lines, pull those players forwards and work the other end.
In the back corner, Jelly in the midfield. Good pass to Wozzy in there into the midfield to Larson. Gonna try to find his first touch, will be given away into the blue corner. Jelly taking control, gets past one, infield pass to Koku. Koku could make a play here. Jelly with a bump attempt, and it's just going to roll in. Wicked Sailors just proving why they are currently winning this series. A beautiful pass there from Jelly, and Jelly with a beautiful bump attempt. And he actually got it, I think.
Oh, he did. Poor Larson went absolutely flying as a sand wedge was taken to the goalie there. Chipped up nicely. There was absolutely no way to get back to that one for Fearless Esports. And at the moment, Poopy looking to try and make it 3 as well. Koku on the follow. Another fake to his name. Wozyan has done so well. He's read Koku like a book and has ploughed a shot the other way.
Well, both of the goals for Fearless Esports have just come from Wicked Sailors all being too far up. And as you mentioned, maybe that's the game plan. Let Wicked Sailors get too confident that we just slap up those easy goals. Well, if Wicked Sailors don't fix that, then maybe that's something they've got to look out for. But it's still 3 minutes of Rocket League, and they're going to take their time on this one. But it is a good save from Larson. A lot of pressure to find that save. Looking for the clear as well. Koku putting that one back to Poopy in the blue corner. Wozyan now gets a good block. Could be in for the taking here. Koku into Larson. Larson now trying to find a dunk, which he does. Will fall back into the midfield though. Koku into Poopy. Poopy with the shot, but yup, with what a save.
Yeah, Wozyan's going to try and continue this ball forwards as back into the corner this Wicked Sailors team goes. That's going to be a shot on target. It's blocked away at the dying seconds by Larson as Yup does dive underneath one player. 2 minutes give or take left on the clock. This could be another one from Yup. The defense just had to stop and stare. They were thinking, what on earth is this player doing, as he just careened his way backwards towards the net. What do you do?
I mean, if that's me, I am literally sitting in that net. I'm not moving a muscle. So, you know, I can't blame them. It's a good goal to get them in the lead. It's, you know, we saw them in the lead in game 1, and, well, that didn't end well. Almost an equaliser there. Koku looked to follow through. That'll be a save from Wozyan. I think all 3 players actually went for that one, and it's going to cost them.
Yeah, that's going to hurt, and it's going to sting just as much as all 3 players dragged out. That is like the absolute worst case scenario as a roster in terms of a goal that you concede. Even as far as to say, I'd prefer to own goal than that, because Wicked Sailors have made them look like fools.
You know what, as much as it's my own team, I can't disagree with that comment. You know what, with the goals they've scored, you can't disagree to it. You got to admit to it when you have to. But yup, off the sidewall now, finding the reset, blocked out from Poopy though, back in the blue corner. Jelly giving away to Wozyan, trying to find Yup in the midfield with the shot, but Koku, what a save. He's not just an offensive demon, he's a defensive demon as well.
Yeah, just in all aspects of play really, Koku has shone over the recent years as a bubble player in the scene, as he does lunge for this double touch and feeds it through to Jelly infield. Poopy's going to be the last hope for Wicked Sailors, but he does pick up that all-important 100 boost and slow plays to bait out one defender. The bump on the final one as well. That is a beautiful piece of coordination between this team.
Beautiful dribble there, and the bump as well, just to clean that one up from Koku with the bump. I mean, Wicked Sailors just outplaying Fearless Esports at this point. No matter what the scoreline is, they always find a way, and that's what you need from a top team in the Premier Tier, and that's what it's going to take, Psycho. And with just over a minute left, they're looking to hold with their 1-goal lead.
It's very much possible, but so far we've seen 7 goals in less than 4 minutes. It's been a very spontaneous game so far, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if there are some more twists in the tail to come, as there's 1 minute left on the clock for Fearless Esports to make a difference, as Poopy does lunge for that 50 so quickly. Koku also doing the same here. Just bid for possession at the moment for Fearless. That's a fake underneath. Wozyan, if he did beat that first player, it might have been deadly.
50 there from Jelly. Koku gets the beat onto Wozyan there, but Larson's going to take that one past. Looking for a shot of his own on net, forcing Jelly with the save. Will be an easy one for him. Yup, with the challenge. Jelly still in possession of the ball. Dropping down to Koku. Will be demoed from Wozyan there. Larson now. Half a tank of boost. Looking for the read. Will be out from Poopy. Yup, now getting past 2. Maybe looking for a goal here. Looking for the shot, and it goes in. It's a beautiful way to tie it up.
Bow down, everyone, to your new king, because that There's something quite special from Yup. He had lofted that one so high, he found the space and it was towards the ceiling. Had the boost in the tank and the mechanics as well to feed a secondary touch through, and this might be where the tensions raise slightly now for both of these teams after what's been a game that I think both teams would rather prefer to forget. This maybe could be a more passive sort of showing if we do find our way to overtime, but there are a few seconds left on the clock as Jelly tries to pounce upon net but blocks away there.
See the ball remain in play on the 0 seconds. It might be dropped down. Jelly trying to find something, but it will touch the ground. And here we are, overtime in game number 3. Who's going to take this victory? Will it be Wicked Sailors to confirm the series win? Will it be Fearless Esports to at least secure a point from this series, which they're probably going to be looking for after being 2-0 down?
Yeah, and I have to say, if you can't really get that point in a series as big as this against such tough oppositions, it's going to bolster your confidence for the remainder of the series. Larson needs to make an incredibly awkward save. He does half flip back just about in time. Koku, no boost to his name, and the demos are coming to hunt him. They have managed to feed the ball downfield. Jelly with a double touch opportunity, but Wazian drops it down and almost fortuitously straight back into his opposition.
My eyes almost popped out of my own body. I was almost scared of that one. Koku, I mean, when he's on the ball, he's just scary in general. But Wazian on the ball now, blocked out from Poopy into the midfield of the red half. Larson pops that one up for Yup. Yup blocked out onto the back board. It's just going to drop down. Has to find the clear here from Larson. Koku looking for the pressure. I mean, Wicked Sailors, I think they've kept the ball in Fearless's half this whole overtime. And that is that domination we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and that's the thing to truly be scared of, because you really cannot survive there for too long when Wicked Sailors are firing on all cylinders. As Koku feeds the ball across to Jelly. He did pick up that 100 boost as well to take this one to the ceiling. Larson extended fourth. Yup, pretty much alone for the time being. He's got support in Wazian, but it's awkward for him to be called into play. That's a wonderful save, though. From absolutely thin air, pretty much. He managed to get some sort of touch on that.
How are we still alive? I do not know, but the defensive backline have kept it alive for now on the crossbar, and it's an opener. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. But Jelly is going to be the one to clean it up for the Wicked Sailors. But credit due to Yup. He had an excellent game there.
Excellent. That is an understatement. 3 goals to that player's name. Also, a great deal of work towards his defensive end as well, but Wicked Sailors proving to be just the stronger foes in this particular game. Such an interesting one it was as well. It was very much back and forth. Quite a few mistakes as well in terms of the defensive ends for both sides, but Wicked Sailors did get the job done, and that's what's important.
I mean, Wicked Sailors, they just have so much pressure. I mean, last game they had, what, like 14 shots? This game, obviously they had an overtime, so probably a little bit more anyway, but they had 19 shots. That is a lot of pressure to maintain from the Fearless Esports side. And, you know, they held up a lot of good saves, but when there's that much pressure, there's only so much you can hold until it goes into your own net.
Yeah, exactly so, and often you can sort of have that as a strategy going into a game. Let's just try and absorb as much pressure as we can, and maybe we can bite back on the counter, and that's shown at even the highest levels of Rocket League. We're pretty close to that right now, and Fearless Esports, they did give it their all in terms of adopting that strategy maybe, but Wicked Sailors, like you said, they were the powerhouses that drove that pressure, the control over the game. And Fearless Esports, they know that this series is over in terms of the overall record, but they know they have it in them to take at least one.
Sure, 1 point, as you said earlier, against Wicked Sailors, a talented team. To at least take a game against them, it could be massive, you know, for the future of the standings. Maybe that one game could be the difference, as the other teams could have all got swept by Wicked Sailors. You never know. That's the luxury of RSC. Every game really matters. Even that one game win could be the difference. But here we are in game number 4. Wicked Sailors, they're not going to stop. They're going to look for that 4-0 sweep, and that's going to be the start to it. Jelly scores the last goal in the last game, but he's here with the first.
I'm trying to do some mental calculations as to how many goals the substitute has scored so far in Jelly. I think he scored all four goals that Wicked Sailors scored in game number 1. He scored 2 in the previous game as well, and has been a difference maker in the second game as well. So at this point, it maybe could be, 6, 7 goals to his name across this series. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, all I know is the percentage of how much he scored is definitely high. He's definitely been a main key player for the double demo here, though, but it won't be... No! That's an opportunity you've got to take. A double demo. It just made me lose my words of how to talk about that one. But that's just something you've got to put in the back of the net. But Wicked Sailors, they get away with it. Koku onto the backboard, looking to follow through with an opportunity. Wazian giving away to Koku. Maybe trying to drop this one down into Jelly, but it will be cleared out from the defensive line. But Wicked Sailors continuing to maintain pressure, but not for now. Wazian, plenty of boost in the tank, but beat out by Koku.
Quite a wide stance in the rotation there for Wicked Sailors. Just gave them so much coverage of the turf in general to really get possession back in their favour, as Koku tries to find a teammate down on that right-hand side of the field. As Yup, some boost in the tank is just going to let Wazian take this one over. A shooting chance, but a demo from Koku is going to make amends for that particular attack, and Poopy really does see this one into some fresh air.
Oh, Jelly will get demoed, chased down the line. Last one will get bumped. Koku taking possession of the ball, flicks past one onto the post. Will be a good save, almost a block, but it will be another shot to the back post, and Yup is going to save that one. Jelly trying to keep the pressure up. Yup into Larson. Going to clear this ball away. Try and regain. 2 minutes in now. Wicked Sailors remain in that 1-goal lead. Yup off the sidewall, hoping to find Wazian with a shot onto the backboard. Larson trying to follow through with a shot of his own, just falling wide, but Poopy will secure the clear there down into Fearless Esports half. And Fearless Esports, they are reducing the amount of pressure that Wicked Sailors have had, but they still not converted that into their own offensive pressure.
Not just yet, but there is plenty of time left on the clock. That shot did rip its way through, and a follow from Yup. That one's just ricocheted off the crossbar though, and I can almost hear a repeat to your voice earlier when you just had to wince in despair and say no, as that one was just so close to being tucked away for Fearless Esports. And well, as this clock ticks down, I'm sure so is their confidence as well. It could be just a couple more opportunities they have left in this game, given the nature of Wicked Sailors.
Wazian blocked up by Jelly. Will be Larson now. A little bit of boost to control this ball. Poopy off the backboard, almost a finish there. Yup with the block. Wazian trying to clear that one out. Will get cleared eventually into Poopy as the third man position. It's going to take his time here. It's got a couple of seconds. Will get bumped in mid-air though. Try to find something now. Koku looking to convert. Looking for an infield pass here with a flick. Larson is going to read that one. Wicked Sailors, this is what I love about them. They're 1 goal up, but they're not stopping there. They're looking for goal number 2. They're looking to secure that sweep.
Absolutely so, and Koku has even won the 50 his own back lines as that final player. He's caught the reset, but it's not going to do any damage this time around, as Yup is going to try and clamber off his own back wall to find Larson in field, and they have just about made that connection, but no real space to feed through an important pass or an important shot on target, and the counter coming straight back for Wicked Sailors now.
Minute remaining on the clock. This is it. Fearless Esports have to find an equaliser soon just to even attend an overtime unless a second goal is scored. Wicked Sailors looking to hold on now. Jelly looking for a shot of his own. Infield pass to Koku. Koku's going to pop this one up. No player will follow that one, but Yup into Wazian. Into the midfield. Poopy into Koku. Koku's going to pop that one up well. Yup. Going to pop that down into Koku. Blocked up by Wazian. Jelly now with a chance. Larson with the interception. Looking for the counter-attack for Fearless Esports. Will be blocked out front. Poopy there. Wicked Sailors just doing everything that is needed. And with a shot of their own just going wide. 20 seconds left now. What's going to happen? I do not know. Fearless Esports with an opportunity, but just going wide.
Wazian with the final chance of the game potentially, and no boost to his name with his teammates retreating. Just has to really just hit the ball forwards and hope, as Yup makes an important save there, but it might not be important in the grand scheme of things if this ball does touch the ground. Jelly's going to be the player to see it to the ground, just about. As Larson does keep this ball high, there is some sort of a chance remaining, but if This one is to be expected. We'll go the direction of Wicked Sailors, as I'm just going to hold my tongue for a brief second, because I know that more unlikely things have happened in a game of Rocket League than a 0-second goal. Larson, oh, no contact found there, and Poopy, that very much is a nail in the coffin, a nail we certainly came to expect. Great performance from Wicked Sailors, and I must say, after the first 4 minutes in Game 1 that we saw from this team, something changed in them, and it's good to see a team that have come alive like them.
I mean, it was a great performance. I mean, from both teams, it was a 4-0 sweep, but, all 3 games out of the 4 were very close, except for that one game where Wicked Sailors just absolutely dominated the field with that 5-2. It's congratulations, of course, to Wicked Sailors, a well-deserved sweep for them. We know that's a talented roster, and that's the reason they're near the top. They've not lost a series. I believe they're now on 2 wins and a draw. It's well deserved by them. Obviously for Fearless Esports, it's a tough loss, losing games out just so close, especially Game 1. Game 1 was all in Fearless Esports' corner. That was theirs to win. But Wicked Sailors, they just know how to claw their way back into a game. So all congratulations to them for their 4-0 sweep.
Yeah, and I must say, even though Wicked Sailors did take that sweep, it still looked as if Fearless Esports had some amazing moments which really shed a light on their roster as a whole. And going forward, I know that this series is going to hurt. It's certainly going to damage some confidence. And if they were to play a repeat matchup in Wicked Sailors come the playoff period, if they do make it that far, it could play on those nerves just a little bit. But well played to the both of them. It looks like a strong performance from both sides. But ultimately, that experience levels, the experience of Wicked Sailors, it shone once again.
I mean, it was a superb performance. I mean, we saw some clip moments. It wasn't just, some great Premier, Rocket League that we get to see. We got to see the top ceiling of it. We got to see moments, maybe some whiffy moments, but we got to see the really good moments of it all as well, especially from Coco. I mean, that's on the socials for sure. There's no way that's not.
For sure.
If I don't see that on my Twitter timeline, then I might have to do that myself at that point.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't just that one magical moment as well. I do remember a double touch to the ceiling from Yup as well, the other direction. They were just great shots flying in left, right and centre. And I must say, for a series length of 4 games, we didn't particularly see much of those sort of infield connections from both sides. It was more just individual class we were seeing just almost on repeat. We saw a lot of the aggressive upfield plays in terms of the demos and the disruptions and that sort of nature of play. But the individual talents really shone through in this series, it's fair to say.
Oh, for sure. They've really, got their spotlight on the field, really showing the capability that they have as individual players, and obviously, of course, as a team as well, really showing their capability of the Premier tier. And, in week 3 for Premier, you start to see kind of the line out of which teams are going to be around the top end, which teams are going to be fighting for that, playoff spot. And obviously, Wicked Sailors, I think it's safe to say they're going to be one of the teams to watch in their conference for the Premier tier, probably challenging Bolo iCarry for that top spot.
Yeah, and I absolutely have to agree with you there, but I do believe we have something pretty cheeky for you all in the name of an interview with a player from Wicked Sailors, Poopy, who is indeed in the voice call with us right now. How are you doing?
Hello, how you doing, guys?
I'm doing fantastically, and I imagine that you're also doing pretty well, Poopy, after what was such a dominating performance from you. And I must say, over the years, I've come to have a little bit of bias towards you as someone that's watched you so many times and supported you on your mission to earn more in this game, to buy more stake. I'm pretty sure that's how you work. Is that going to be the plan today as well?
Yeah, we can stake tonight.
Stake tonight? That's on the cards? Wonderful to hear.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'll start off with the opening question. Going into this series, was there any set expectation of playing against the side of Fearless Esports? Was it expected to win, or was there expected of, okay, there might be some tough matches there?
I mean, we always expect a win. We didn't know how they played, so first game was like little bit like contact game. Just seeing how they play and trying to get like a counter for them. And went pretty good, to be honest.
I mean, you won, so I'd say that went pretty well. But I mean, all the games were individually close. But I got a question for that one game. All of a sudden, it just clicked when you won 5-2. Was there anything that just changed? In the team comms to, was there a game plan that changed for that to happen, or did you generally just all play better in that individual game?
I don't know. I just leave Jelly and Coco pick. I just let the kids play, and it's a win.
I mean, Koku definitely peaked. He definitely gave us.
Yeah,
some
he
context,
picked with the quick flip. Yeah.
Honestly, that goal from Koku made me so happy that I just shouted. I didn't expect to see what I saw, but it happened. It was pretty awesome. And also, I wanted to give some massive props towards Jelly, who is a player that I've not seen on your roster before. And if I'm not mistaken, he is sort of the designated sub for this roster. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, he's now Exta. He's been away for a few days. He's going to NA, so we've got a new player that we hope we can do pretty good things with him.
I mean, pretty good things, I think, is a partial understatement, because I remember in Game 1, I sort of did this thing that most casters do when there's a sub and say, you know what, maybe the team isn't going to function quite the same. He scored 4 goals in the first game. He scored 2 in the third game, which was the most important one in terms of your game record in the series, and in the last one as well. He was such a difference maker throughout the turf. You just seemed to click so well. Have you had much experience as that roster in a trio before?
I mean, he's the Italian goat. We've been teaming with him like maybe 3 days. We haven't played much with him, but yeah, we played really good together.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell on the field the chemistry's there. You play it well indeed. Well, I'll give you one final question before we let you go and enjoy your time back with the team. Obviously you're expecting a win going into next week, but your next matchup is Oblivion. Is there, looking in the future, is there any expected, are you expecting a tougher matchup, or do you think it's going to be another 4-0 looking to climb for that number 1 spot?
I mean, we'll get more time to practice with Jelly, so I think we could get the 4-0.
That's what I wanted to hear, I wanted to hear that he's claiming a 4-0. We got it. So if there's no 4-0 next week, we know where to go on Twitter. We can go to iPuppy and say, yo, where's the 4-0? Where is it? But either way, congratulations to you and your team. It was a superb performance. You really showed the RSC, what the Premier Tier is really about. So congratulations to you and your team on your victory.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for coming. Well, Psycho, I'm almost out of words at this point with how miraculous the series went, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, as the person who made the prediction, the sort of ruthless prediction of a 4-0 the direction of Wicked Sailors, I wasn't quite expecting a performance quite that strong from them, but still, I think it's come to be something that I should expect now, because I've seen this team win Discord competitions, Doink weekly competitions, Hyperlux leagues, just pretty much every competition that has been out there in the bubble space for the past year or two. They have won at some stage, and that is such a feat.
I mean, yeah, you got the prediction smack on correct. Definitely put my prediction in the water, 2-2. I was a bit optimistic, but, I had to support my boys. But either way, that is going to wrap up for the Premier Series for tonight. Wicked Sailors did take the 4-0 sweep onto Fearless Esports, moving them into pretty much top 2 spot in the standings for now. But that is it for me and Psycho for this one. And we'll go for a short break for the final series of tonight, which I believe is a rival one. So, they're going to give you some good content there as well. It is going to be Montbéliard versus Sanctum. So make sure you go grab something to eat, something to drink, and we'll be back very, very shortly with obviously a new casting booth, but it'll be a great series for sure.
you hear me? We could be legend. I have nothing to lose. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Wake up. I know what's real. Escape reality. Hardwired. We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. This is the world you've made yourself. Now you have to live in it. The end is in our sights. The future is already here. No matter how hard we tried, we're doomed. Say your goodbyes. Brace yourself. I can see the end inside. Three, two, one. Hardwired. Disconnect.
'cause you got all you wanted. Yeah, I don't know why suddenly you're gone. You'll never be forgotten. Pretending no one is to blame. Too late to reignite our flame. How did I not see you running? How did I get left behind? How did I not see this coming? Guess all you left me blind. Guess all you left me blind. Guess all you left me blind. How did I not see you running? How did I get left behind? How did I not see this coming? Guess all you left me blind. How did I not see you running? How did I get left behind? How did I not see this coming? Guess all you left me blind. In retrospect, I could have paid attention. I could have tried harder, been smarter. Deep water, I'd be drowned. I should have felt the tension. I overreacted and acted childish, impacted us all around. When you were pushing me away, I should have tried to give you space and get out of your way. How did I not see this coming? You leave
Welcome back, everybody, to the RSC, the 5th week in the rival tier. We've made our way from the Premier tier in the previous series, which did go partially in one direction, the direction of Wicked Sailors, who took the previous series in a convincing sweep. But now we have Montbéliard versus Sanctum. This is 6th versus the 9th seed in the rival tier in the Ignis Conference. And joining me today is Moritz. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I don't think that's the correct pronunciation of my name, though, so maybe work on that for the future. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Obviously, toward the lower end of the table, although we've seen Sanctum rebuilding over the Christmas break, and now the results are on the up. And will we see that trend continue?
We jolly well could do, but we have had a little bit of insight courtesy of our wonderful producer behind the scenes and the general manager of one of these teams as to the capabilities we can expect to see from Sanctum in this particular matchup. But I think it's only fair we do dig into the statistical point of view in terms of the team stats between Sanctum and Montbéliard. And honestly, it's very tough to call so far, I think it's fair to say, because it is still relatively early doors in the season so far. We are in the 5th week so far, and in terms of the percentage wins so far, there isn't a major difference.
Both teams towards that lower end of the table. Montbéliard only picking up one series win in their last 5. That was in week 2, I believe, against Disorder. And Sanctum, like you said last week, they've had a good run. They went 6-2, and they'll be hoping to continue that streak going forward.
Yeah, absolutely so. And just as we are waiting on the teams to hop into the lobby, I think we can also have a quick peek at the player stats individually as well. And honestly, coming into the rival tier, there's a little bit of unexpectedness for me because the individual names might not be ones I'm particularly familiar with, but players such as CJ and Rawbean I've definitely seen about in the scene so far. But just looking at the player stats overall, I'm not sure there's a particular highlights player in any one department, but what this sort of point of view does give us is an expectation for the rosters that we can see here tonight.
Yep, obviously the stats are going to be quite low for Sanctum as they have gone for a rebuild after Christmas, but the stats overall, they look quite good for the amount of games played. See Robin having the most with just 16 compared to Yo-Yo on the Montbéliard side playing 34 games and bagging 25 goals for himself.
Yeah, it's not too shabby at all. And in fact, 25 goals have been shared between Yo-Yo and Nations. The two of them both putting up some big numbers in that department. But I think moving forward to this game, it definitely is the match that does the talking, not the statistics. It can give us some important insights as to what we can expect from the teams, who we might be looking out for on any particular given day. But honestly, 4 games separates these two teams, and that is what's important.
Yep, and actually a sweep for Sanctum would see them overtake Montbéliard in the standings and get themselves into those play-in spots. So this conference is a lot closer than a lot of other conferences around. I believe it's closer than the Ignis conference. So if you can get that big win, it'll really bolster your standings for the rest of the season coming forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and it also pushes you towards that sort of prized playoff situation which every team wants to find themselves in, but very few are fortunate enough to do so. And of course, during this match we are looking towards the lower end of the table, and honestly the games down there are just as equally important as the ones at the top as well, because it's about giving teams opportunities at all stages in the competition. There is certainly some fight left in these two teams as we're almost getting ourselves underway in this series.
Yep, and going on then to our predictions for this series, I'm personally gonna ride that Sanctum train there on an upwards trend, and I think that will continue with a 3-1 win for Sanctum. Yeah,
and you see, this is a relative unknown in terms of the outcome for this. I've not had the experience watching these players before, and hopefully can shed some light on some of the talents on the field. But we are underway between Montbéliard and Sanctum. It's going to be some early possession, the direction of Montbéliard, as they try to kick things off right.
Seconds, and they've had most of the possession so far. She's Sinsu trying to provide some more pressure from Montbéliard. A little bit of miscommunication, and Yo-Yo will put that one in to open the scoring very early doors.
Absolutely, and as you say, maybe just a miscommunication there, as Moom and his counterpart at the front post getting a little bit of a pickle, trying to wonder who's best to try and throw the ball over to safety, and well, they just couldn't decide between them.
Yep, and see the kickoff going the way of Montbéliard yet again, but it's going to be Sanctum trying to get themselves back at the game at early doors, just give them that reset, get on level footing early on so they don't have to chase this game for long. It's going to be Nations winning that 50, but it's only going to go straight into Geodude, and a little bit of back and forth there, so no team can really find anything from that exchange. Shinsu comes close to making a little bit of a mishap. He does get the stop, and now the counter attack. Yo-Yo has a bit of an opening. Mume is back, but he can't quite get there, and it's a brace for Yo-Yo in just under a minute, as we see Montbéliard going 2-0 up in game 1.
Yeah, and Sanctum were just trying to connect with that infield pass back towards the third player of Sanctum, but unfortunately the pass was lofted just a little bit too strongly and a little bit too deep on the counter-attack. Montbéliard, quite an easy punish for Yo-Yo in these early stages of this game. 1 or 2 mistakes so far for Sanctum have been costly.
Yeah, but they still have time to get back in this game. They have had 1 or 2 decent chances, so I think there's more than enough time and more than enough possibility to grab themselves a goal or 2 to get back into this one. It's just going to be Yo-Yo taking his time in the corner, low on boost, trying to run for all those 50s, and Shinsu gets a good one there. It's going to be an open out once again, and Shinsu opens up his account in this series to make it 3-0.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch from Shinsu downfield. You did see the fact that Sanctum both had 2 players pretty highly pressed up in that offensive corner, and I think it's only fair given their early sort of woes in this series so far. Trailing by 2 goals early on is often an incentive just to try that little bit harder when it comes to your aggression, how much you press downfield, but maybe the wrong option there as Geodude is going to try and lunge at a potential shot. Was covered away by the defense. Standarang passes back towards Moon. That shot's just over the bar as they put their first potential opportunity just out of the reach of the target.
Yeah, they're starting to come forward a little bit more, starting to sort of ease into things. 2 minutes gone, but they are down by 3 and could be 4 here, but Nations not quite expecting the ball to come to him so freely and the chance to go to waste. But this chance isn't over yet. Physical play is almost coming out, but Sanctum hold on to that one, but Nations just gonna hold them in their own half. And Geodude is just going to try and get away for now. But with half the game gone, it really does seem like Montbéliard is the team to beat in this lobby.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way early on, but I can't help but feel there is certainly something more to come from the Sanctum roster. There's been 3 relatively simple mistakes, clumsy mistakes so far, which have been costly, like I've mentioned, as Dan Durank is going to have to clamber onto his own backboard to see the clearance through. As Excel Nations does keep this pressure alive for a little bit longer. Shinsu touches the ball forwards. Dan Durank almost baited into an early challenge, but does well to stand his ground.
Yep, and that was close yet again for Sanctum. It's just his little mistakes, but that was a very good save there from Shinsu, keeping the Queen Sheet intact. And Nations going to go straight down the other end and remind them that you should take your chances when given them. A beautiful redirect to make it 4-0.
It was a gorgeous touch from iNations. The infield pass was equally sweet as well. You could tell that was a very much pre-coordinated play, not just something spur of the moment. A nice bit of a confidence boost towards Montbéliard, and maybe that is the first goal that they've really had to work for to put on the boards. It was a good one as well.
What a way to introduce yourself to the series from Nations. Just redirect from his own half. But Sanctum are now trying to get something from this game. Dan Durank just going to bimp to the backboard. No one is quite there. A little bit of scrambling from Montbéliard to get the ball clear, but they haven't done a great job. But Nations will be getting demoed. Geodude just going to pop it up for Dan Durank, but Shinsu with the pre-jump to deny it. And a little bit and double commit there from Montbéliard, but no one there to really capitalise from it. Yo-Yo, bit of a risky clear, does work out for him though. Into the last minute, I don't really see any chance of Sanctum getting back in this one. But we see the physical plays coming out. Psycho, what do you see the rest of the series going, rather?
Well, it's looking better, that's for sure, for Sanctum, because they've had about a minute or so of sustained pressure as this ball's just going to be sort of shoveled across its own back line, and a wonderful secondary save as well. But this game is absolutely done and dusted, that much is for certain. But it has been an improvement for Sanctum. They've managed to keep this pressure for a sustained amount of periods and really troubled the back lines of Montbéliard, and also from the statistical front in Game 1 as well. 6 shots the direction of the team, trailing by 4 goals. So I still think the series at large is anyone's game.
See there, a nice little 1-2 between Geodude and Dan Durank. Maybe a goal for momentum and to just raise the morale a little bit. But it's Montbéliard coming down the other end. Mumi rushing to get a touch on that one, and Shinsu will double tap to himself, using all of his boost for it, just trying to maybe run down the clock. Deny any more options for Sanctum. They're working the ball forward quite nicely. Nations will just undo all progress. Mumi doesn't quite read that bounce. Nations going to try and do it by himself, but he can't quite get the read. That'll be Game 1 in the books, and it'll be a Montbéliard dub.
Massive dub, the direction of Montbéliard. If you're not familiar with what this actually is, it's a breed of cow. And the reason I know that is because this is a team, or a team name rather, that I have actually had the pleasure of watching before, and I do believe they were also at a similar level of strength the last time I watched them as well, albeit with some slightly different players on their roster. But moving forward to game number 2, Merits, I think it's very fair to say we might not see a similar scoreline to what we did in game 1.
Yeah, Montbéliard, they kept up that same level of aggression. They were poised in their attack, but Sanctum, they were on an upwards incline in terms of their ability to get back into the game. So it's going to be a lot more evenly matched coming into game number 2. And I'm not so sure that Montbéliard might actually take game 2, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, time will tell. And at the moment, it's pretty much warm-up stages. I mean, we had an interview towards the latter stages of the previous series with a Poopy after Wicked Sailors' win in the Premier Tier, and he told us that in that first game, they were trying to calculate their opposition. They were trying to figure out how they could flow as a team and really get those gears turning effectively. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a very similar case for Sanctum.
Just a little bit of rush you got to shake off in that first game of the series. Happens quite often, so there's no surprise that would have happened to Sanctum. So maybe, hopefully we'll see an improved Sanctum roster into game number 2 that will make the series a bit closer. See game number 2 underway. The Montbéliard starting with a bit more of the pressure, but Geodude down the other end. He's going to find the angle for that from way high up on the pitch and makes it 1-0.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous touch from Geodude. And I was thinking, you know what, maybe he's trying to lay this one off to the backboard to a teammate, maybe drop it down infield. No, he's just going to go for the target. And the target was found. The poor keeper was just stood there in awe, and lovely little shot there from Geodude.
Yeah, but it's going to get cancelled out. It was actually Geodude who couldn't find the follow-up touch from the kickoff, and now it's back to square one.
Yeah, square one, and it's been found in an unconventional method as well, and it was a team effort. That concession from Sanctum, as much as Geodude did make that unfortunate whiff. The two players at the back lines were also driving forwards very optimistically after that miss had already came through, and it just made it so awkward for their back lines as Dan Durank is shoveling forwards. That Montbéliard player gets an extra bump as well. That's 2 to his name to see some freedom, but freedom they have not found as yet more shots are coming through from Montbéliard.
And it just looks like the same as game number 1, but Sanctum seem to be dealing with it quite efficiently. It's just the boost control and boost domination from Montbéliard early on, which is allowing them to sustain this pressure. Shinzu not able to place a shot on target. Nation's going to put it back into the middle, forcing a double commit from Sanctum to keep the pressure on, but double commit from Montbéliard there will cancel that attack, and with just over a minute gone, they're still all tied up here, but where is the pendulum swinging here?
I mean, at the moment, again, maybe it's just a little bit too early to tell. That's a wonderful dunk, though, from Sanctum. As Moom is going to follow this one high. He drops it down towards Shinzu, and luckily for him, no save is required. The crossbar had done all the heavy lifting there. As Geodude catches the flip reset nicely. A scoop infield towards Dan, but blocked away at the dying seconds there by Nations.
That would have been very nice if it had came off, but unfortunately there was a keeper on the line to keep that one out. Geodude displaying some good air control there. Bit of a miscommunication from Sanctum, double commit, nobody actually touching the ball. Geodude going to go by himself yet again. He gets 1 touch, gets 2, but Nations will get the stop. And now down the other end coming Shinzu across the middle. Nations can't quite put it on target. Sanctum playing a little bit riskier on the defense than Montbéliard. Bit of no nonsense defending from Montbéliard. And Nations, no nonsense double tap there to give Montbéliard the lead again.
No nonsense, no forgiveness, no sympathy, just pure bloodshed from iNations. A lovely lofted first touch, and those poor defenders yet again just had to make such an uncomfortable read, and iNations had it all covered with his mechanical prowess, and the job is only going to get harder from here, more uphill for this Sanctum roster. As Montbéliard are going to try and keep this offense going for as long as possible. A lot of time left in the match for anything to happen.
Yeah, but I think it's just come down to Sanctum taking a couple more risks, and unfortunately they have not been paying off. That was nearly a big mistake from Montbéliard. Luckily Nations manages to recover it, and Shinzu going to use all his boost, try and send it towards that orange net, try and extend their advantage, but Sanctum defense holding strong. They're coming down the other end. Mumi gets a second touch. Dan Durank not quite getting the read, so we'll still have a Montbéliard lead coming into the final 2 minutes. Will they be able to hold on?
Maybe so, or maybe not. Time will tell as XL Nations wraps this ball around. The infield pass was plenty good enough from his teammate as Moom, Geodude and Dandarank. Look at them, all three of the players in the corner as they tried so desperately to escape and maybe with a bit too much speed, exiting their own backlines there.
As I mentioned, just taking one too many risks, and eventually it will not work out for them. But goal cancelled out pretty much. Dandarank, very nice shot off the side wall to cut that deficit down to just one cycle.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything more beautiful in this game than the following string of communications. Back left, goal. That's how easy it was for Sanctum. It was just like a walk in the park, even though they're trailing by 2 goals. They need to make it 3, though, if they're in with a chance of taking this series in a win for their overall record. There's Dandarank in the corner, trying to do some work. XL Nations following this one through. It's the beat out on his opposition. 2 blue players having committed for this one, though. Could give a little bit of space for the counter-attack. It's getting more awkward by the second for Montbéliard, but 1 minute left to hold on for them.
Yeah, but a little bit of awkward moments, and that was a very awkward moment for Sanctum. That could have been the tied game right there. It was Dandarank and Geodude coming together but not finding the net. Dandarank putting it towards middle. Mumi commits, not able to find the target. 2 players on the backboard for Montbéliard. Save made, and another one forced there by I believe it was Geodude that was saved adequately, and I'm not sure what quite happened there. Just a little bit of fumbling in the back side of Sanctum's defense, and 30 seconds left. I feel like both teams have had chances to extend or cut down the lead. I'm not sure what quite happened this game, but how? Explain, Seiko.
Oh, it's so difficult at the moment for Sanctum to even get their footing in this game, courtesy of levels of pressure we've seen from Montbéliard, and like you've mentioned a couple of times, the risks that have been thrown on the defensive end from Sanctum. Maybe just a risk too much, and Montbéliard have gone to extend their lead in this series. And of course, at this stage, it's now an impossibility for Sanctum to take a win on their own record. But I think we've seen enough flashes of brilliance to see something more from them, maybe.
So at the very start of the game, we saw that beautiful redirect from Geodude. So they do have flashes of brilliance in their repertoire. So maybe we'll see some more of them, and it'll maybe, translate into a game win. But as we'll see coming into game 3, a substitute has been made. Robin will be coming in for Geodude. So we now have the main roster of Sanctum hoping to clutch out a draw.
Yeah, and that's going to be such an interesting change to the dynamic of this series. And I absolutely love it when we have some subs thrown in the mix here at RSC. It's a lovely thing to see, because the game often does just completely change, at least from my experience. The few times I've casted when a sub has jumped in, and we did see for the Wicked Sailors in that previous series how well the substitute was playing in Jelly. He scored, maybe 6, maybe 7 goals, something absolutely ludicrous like that, and maybe a change of pace is what's required for Sanctum.
Yep, and I think Robin will be able to provide that. He is the AGM for Sanctuary, and I think he'll be what is required for Sanctum to get back into the series. See game 3 underway on Sovereign Heights, and will the fortunes change for Sanctum in this series? Robin trying to start off fast, but Mumi isn't there to receive the pass, and Nations will make it 1-0 to Montbéliard.
Similar issues yet again plaguing this Sanctum side, just driving forwards in those defensive positions just that little bit too hard. They're trying to make these interlinking connections. They're trying to escape defense quickly. But unfortunately, that risk, yet again, has not paid off. At the moment, they're in a really, really difficult position where this is almost a must-win to scrape some points out of this series, and not even something that Rawbean could deal with in that situation.
Yeah, but remember, this is RSC. It's not a best of. Every win counts. So even if you do go 3-0 down, that 4th game is still worth giving your all for and fighting for. You're not down and out ever in RSC, which is what I like about it so much. It's just unique from any other league. And we see here a minute gone. A little bit of pressure here from Montbellier. Can Yoyo get the redirect? He does! Just scooping it over Mume, who couldn't defend that one. That was a very good pass from Shinsu. I don't know if that was planned, but it was delightful either way.
That's such a cheeky little finish, and I'm sure there's going to be a massive smile on the face of Yo-Yo Viben, and he's even taken to the chat in-game to explain his joy, much to his opponent's demise. And like you said, even just a single win, a 3-1 record in this particular series could be a massive benefit long-term for Sanctum, but something needs to change just about now as Moom does get up just in time. Dandarank pushing forwards now, lots of space on the field to deal with the play as a pass does come through. Dandarank's shot though, much further from the target than he would have wanted, as XL Nations is up with so much pace to see yet another save the direction of Montbelliard.
Sanctum are starting to come forward a little bit more. Promising signs, little pass between Mume and Robin, nothing coming of it. Yo-Yo can't quite get connection onto that pass. Mume was done for if he had made contact there. Now down the other end comes Sanctum. Dandarank can't make anything of that one. Robin forcing a 50 through. Yo-Yo getting the clear away, but the pressure is not off their backs just yet. Backward clear after backward clear comes through, and finally this one will work. Mume clearing it back to the corner for Sanctum as he try and come forward again. Just under 3 minutes to go, but this is looking like a pretty insurmountable lead with how good Montbelliard are.
Yeah, and it just looks like a completely different caliber of team in Montbelliard. They're just so controlling over the tempo of the play, and Sanctum are just playing catch-up seemingly at all times. And as much as we are seeing them downfield in numbers at times, they haven't looked particularly threatening so far, but maybe that tide is about to turn as Robin downfield is going to hoof this one forwards. Followed up nice and quickly by Dandarank over to the corner. Moom is just going to sit there and wait back. He thought he overstepped his lines maybe once again there and is now back on the retreat.
And with just 2 minutes to go, they actually don't have that much time to grab a goal in the grand scheme of things, and that nearly made it so much harder, but Mume will be the hero on the goal line. And now the counter-attack coming again. Dandarank trying to force the ball forward, but it's Yo-Yo taking it all the way back to that orange half, and nothing will be done with that attack as the ball is just given up to Montbelliard once again. The goal, it just appears like Sanctum are going for an attack, but once it fails, they just sort of leave the ball for Montbelliard, and I feel like that's where they haven't been able to control the game from.
I think you're absolutely right in saying that. Maybe just giving away possession a little bit too loosely towards their opposition counterparts in trying to adopt this more aggressive style, just one after another hitting the ball forwards, but no real connections being formed as an infield pass is going to try and test that theory of mine as Nations. With 100 boost to his name, he's going to try and take this one to the skies, but no contact found. Robin on the counter offensive, tries to launch a shot on target, but the accuracy wasn't there quite as much as the power was.
And that could have been what Sanctum needs to get back in this game, but they still have chances with just over 30 seconds to go. Nation's getting demoed as that third man, but Shinsu will be able to cover it adequately. And I feel like time is running out thick and fast for Sanctum. The bump nearly coming through, but the save from Yo-Yo will prevail for Montbelliard, and I think it's just too little too late if anything were to happen for Sanctum for them to take this game at number 3.
Yeah, and it's desperate times now for Sanctum. It's going to be a matter of just putting a single game on the board. This could be one goal just to put a cherry on top of the misery for Sanctum, which isn't the phrase that they would want to be hearing personally. But Montbelliard, I think it's fair to say they're continuing their run of form so far in this competition, and just looking again at this team, they've come quite the distance, I think, in this series to be proving of themselves to be so much stronger than their opposition right now.
And it's not as if Sanctum haven't been playing well. They've been creating chances and they've been forcing Montbelliard into some awkward situations. It was just that final shot that was lacking overall. So maybe we'll see a different approach from Sanctum on game 4. A little bit more careless, just, you know, trying to score at all costs, because that is what they need, because they've been struggling to score so far.
Yeah, and I think it's a fair point to make that, but it's going to be a matter of strategy as well for Sanctum, because I think their initial stance in this series, their initial sort of play style was being at the forefront of all of that aggression, really just sort of pushing forwards all their players at a defence that wants to try and get some links up together, but maybe just taking a step backwards in terms of that third man back maybe for Sanctum and letting them loose upfield in the other two players could be a potential strategy for this game, but time will tell in terms of what we see from Sanctum in the final game of the series.
And as I said in the previous game, never give up in RSC, because every win will count towards that final standings. But Montbelliard, they aren't looking to let up anything. They're going to try and complete the sweep, and it's a promising start as they've confined Sanctum start off, and Nations will make the final shot. Sanctum, they're just boxed in from the very beginning, and Montbelliard will reap the rewards.
Absolutely, and for poor Sanctum, yet again, they're trying to escape their defence quite desperately. Two players at the back in the corner being beaten out by one solo individual effort from Yo-Yo. And Nations was there central to follow forwards, and the keeper just looking in a slightly different location to the ball itself, couldn't get up in time. Very, very punishing start from Montbelliard, and something that I'm sure they're capable of continuing.
And Sanctum, they're just looking a little bit more desperate. They're just trying to send someone to every ball, even if they don't have the boost to go for it, and it's allowing Montbelliard more possession than Sanctum would like. This would be a chance. Dandy rank a little bit too high. Robin following up. Shinsu with the save. And that could have been the equaliser if they just had that little bit more poise in the initial shot. And now it's Montbelliard coming in the other way. It's a good touch from Dandy rank. Reading the pinch there, and Robin trying to get the shot. Gonna tactically fake it for Mume, but it's a good save. And Yo-Yo, big power, getting the bumper too. And it's going to be Montbelliard with all the momentum once again. And it's just Sanctum who can't get a look in game number 4.
This could be a shot for Robin. Unfortunately, the bump did come through just in time to see away the danger from Montbelliard, as now Sanctum need to regroup. They need to keep away a potential piece of offense to come, and you can see the desperation yet again with the committances. Moom is caught off guard as well. He's driving downfield. He thinks his team has got it covered, and playing the optimist in this role has really not done them any favours. Another lovely little shot there from iNations, but one that Sanctum really would have wished didn't happen.
Robin and Dan, they were just flailing about a little bit, just jumping for the ball like their life depended on it, and it just didn't work out. And now Montbelliard lead by 2. Game 4 pass going out central with iNations getting the first touch over Mume, but Robin will be able to get the clear, beaten out by Yo-Yo though. So poor hit from Yo-Yo, so now Dan can take it down the other end. It's going to bounce off him, and Shinsu trying to pinch it away. Instead just sends it further into his own net. And Sanctum now, they have a little bit, they have a leg to stand on now.
Yeah, they do. And I think a leg has been taken from their opposition in Montbelliard. That's how hard that one might have hit. I'm not sure how that analogy quite works out in the form of this beautiful esports, but we're going to run with it anyway, as Sanctum needs to claw back a second goal, and preferably not one that their opposition is putting in.
Yeah, that would be, what's the words? Never mind.
It'd be problematic if the only team to be scoring was their opposition, even on their own back lines. That might be a bit scary in terms of Sanctum's confidence, and this one might look a little bit open for Dan Durank, who blasts the ball downfield, but a comfortable little save there for Shinsu.
Yeah, man, it's just the power in the shot. It just really wasn't threatening. He had quite a bit of time. Instead, he just chose to shoot it straight away. and it was just an easy save. And that could have, that might come back to bite them come the end of this series. But 2 minutes left, there's still plenty of time. Robin puts that one towards net, forcing the double commit. And now they're starting to put a little bit more pressure on the board, Psycho.
Absolutely, and if this is as uncomfortable as it seems, it might be an opportunity for Sanctum to keep the offense rolling, but you could see the players in red just sort of rotate back to grab those boosts before firing another attack. As Yo-Yo has so much time on the ball, he's going to patiently dribble this one down. A beautiful piece of mechanics from him. 1 minute 30 left on the clock for Sanctum to make a difference.
And that air dribble from Yo-Yo actually forced all 3 players to make some sort of lunge towards it, but they couldn't capitalise quite as much as they wanted to, but this could be a third. But Yo-Yo had to swerve out the way of Robin, which means he couldn't get the pass he was hoping for. And Mumi, good shot, can he get over both of them? Yes, he can. Dandy rank, he sends it too high, and it could be a third, and it is a third. So much pain for Sanctum there, and you've got to think their shooting just hasn't been good enough to even deserve a win in this series.
I'm almost in tears, Merits. I'm so sad. Danderank, it was all yours. It was yours to take. The goal was pretty much, there was a big fat stamp on it, and it had your name on it. And unfortunately, he had racketed it straight into the crossbar. Much to my sadness in the casting booth. There is some time left on the clock though for Sanctum. Yet again, to try and forge another play similar to the last, but that ball's just loosely hoofed downfield in hopes that there's going to be some sort of magical collapse on the defense of Montbéliard. It's simply not going to happen. A wonderful performance so far from the 3 of them, Shinsu Nations and Yo-Yo, all 3 of them putting on equally strong performance in this series. And I'll tell you what, if it does go to 3-3, I might as well shave myself bald. That's how unlikely I think that's going to be.
Let's not curse it now, Psycho. This could be a 4th. Dandy rank on the back lines. As little as it mattered, it was a very nice save, and Nations going for glory. The double tap, not good. And that will be the end of this series. Our 2 sweeps in a row on stream tonight, and Montbéliard dominates Sanctum. Very convincing from them, and they remain within the playing spots, while Sanctum may fall further in this season of RSC.
Maybe so, and just to reflect on the initial sort of starting positions for these teams yet again before this series began, Montbéliard were that team who were already sort of trying to chase that playoff scenario. They started before this series in the 6th position in the Ignis Conference, and Sanctum were just trying to look for a piece of energy to push them forwards in this league because they were sitting in 9th originally. But yet again, I think we have to give full credit to the performance of Montbéliard yet again. Like I said, all 3 players I thought put in a very similar sort of level of appearance here today. Full props to them.
And I'm going to highlight Nations in particular. He was just a constant threat on both sides of the field, both attacking and defense, and it was just, he scored 2 goals in that last game, dropped around 400 points, and he was just pivotal in Montbéliard's triumph.
Absolutely, such an important role he plays, and I think also the slight difference between the 2 teams was almost reflected by the level of experiences of the players. I don't want to try and make any assumptions here, but it didn't seem as if this Sanctum roster were firing on all cylinders from the word go. It sort of took them a long time to get into it and really plough some opportunities their own direction and figure out how it's best to play in such an uncomfortable environment that these stream games can give. But it is a wonderful opportunity to be on stream for these teams, because especially if you're reaching those playoff scenarios, the nerves are going to be hitting you hard. Maybe that's what's affecting some of the teams in the leagues when they are in these sorts of positions, but it's going to be a learning curve for everyone here, Merits.
Something I forgot to mention throughout the series is that Yo-Yo and Nations have experience playing together from ERS. They made it to the playoffs in, I believe, the Prospect Division, which is the 2nd tier of play in ERS, and they made it quite far. So they have that chemistry, whereas Sanctum, not as much. They've only been together for just over a week. So there's still a bit of a learning curve to be made for Sanctum.
Yeah, and full props to them if they've only been together a week as well, to be just thrown on a stage like this and still really show yourself to be threatening in offense like they were in a couple of those games. It's a nice feeling. Maybe not a nice feeling to be swept, especially on stream, but there still were some important sparks of hope for this team, and I just hope that they can persevere with that. GG's to all players who've been here, of course, and I do believe we are going to be searching for a cheeky little interview from Montbéliard to see how they are feeling after what has been a very dominating performance. Yet again, we had Nations in here for maybe about a second, maybe just got shy and left straight away again. Hopefully he comes back.
It would be nice to talk to him, get a little insight into, how that team operates and functions. And here he is now, Nations. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are yourself?
I'm good, I'm good.
I'm doing wonderfully, Nations, and I must say that was a great performance from the three of you. Not a single player that I would particularly highlight in terms of the performance you gave. I thought it was a fantastic team effort. And just before this match began, Nations, you were sitting 6th in the Ignis conference at large, and I was wondering what sort of aspirations you have. What are your goals for this season at large?
Well, we've been unfortunate in the last couple of games. The last few series, we've been upper hand and we've just lost to silly mistakes. So to come into this and win this week makes us, ecstatic, because it means we're actually pushing for playoffs, which is, let's be honest here, the main goal is to win and bring the money back and bring all the fame and fortune back to Hecky, the man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend, Hecky. That is what you're doing it for. That's a beautiful sentiment you give there. And in terms of another question to give you, I've been hearing from my wonderful co-caster here today that you do actually have a bit of experience this roster going forward in yourself and Yo-Yo, and I was wondering what that looks like.
Right. So, yeah, I played in ERS last season with the Yo-Yo, so we've got a wee bit of experience together. I'm more of the man with the plan, the brains behind the play, and then Yo-Yo I just let Yo-Yo off the leash and let him do what he wants. I just focus on, trying to fix everything he does. So he goes for demos, I look for plays. He goes for bumps, I just look for passes. So it works quite well, and then you've got Shin, who obviously is just Shin.
Yeah, but we don't mention how you got eliminated from ERS, an open goal miss from Yo-Yo in overtime, so some painful memories for you. But I actually have a question for you. Obviously, you got the sweep over Sanctum, but what do you think was the biggest difference between the teams that managed to give you the edge? Never mind. Nations has actually left the voice call.
That is the rudest thing I've ever seen. In RSC history, never have we been mid-interview and someone has just snaked their way out the booth so quickly. We do have a re-arrival from Nations. I think it's only fair you repeat the question in case you missed it, Laris.
Yes, I do apologise. I must have to stay on stream that I am an Xbox pleb, so I'm trying to do Discord through Xbox. So if I get kicked, that's why.
I see. We'll forgive you, but only this once.
Oh, okay, that's more than plenty. Thank you.
Especially as a fellow Scot, you leaving the call mid question, it's kind of offending, but never mind.
Yeah.
So I'll repeat my question. So given you got the sweep, what do you think was the biggest difference between the teams that managed to, make you stand out and, get the sweep?
Honestly, control. Like as soon as we get a goal, it seems like, I don't want to put them down, but Sanctum just panics, no matter where they are on the pitch. Whereas we were more comfortable just calming, playing, rotating. We didn't even do it it wasn't like, I don't want to sound so bad, but it wasn't hard. We just had control of the game as soon as we got a goal. As soon as we got a lead, we could just get control. Wee mistakes there and then is where we slipped up and they got a goal. But no, I'd say control. Easily control.
Yeah,
Certainly. Oh, my bad.
No, absolutely. No, I think that's pretty much what we were sort of shedding light on in the casting booths ourselves. I think one of the most crucial differences that we could see is that everything was super comfortable for you guys and for Sanctum. For every time they were trying to make their pushes upfield to make that difference, they were really throwing everything at it, and it did cause maybe one or two of those mistakes that you referenced. But Nations, I think it's only fair that that sweep came your direction because it was such a convincing performance. And just before we head ourselves out this evening, Merits, did you have anything else you wanted to ask him?
Not really. I think he did all of his talking on the field. He was absolutely on top throughout the whole series, and it was definitely a deserved win for Montbéliard.
Well, there you have it. It's been a pleasure, Nations. Thank you for joining us here in the interview booth. I hope you can go and enjoy and relish in your successes with the team as soon as you're done figuring out the awkward Discord shenanigans on the Xbox. But it's been a pleasure watching you play here tonight, and that does wrap up the matches which we have here on RSC tonight. That was the final series of the evening. I hate to break it to you all, but we do also have some incredible games that will be coming up your direction on Friday the 13th as well. And hopefully we'll be seeing you all there. Thank you very much for watching.
Don't you think we're done? Don't you think we're done? Don't you think we're done? Make me feel alive. Take my hand and run, let me be the one. Let's just take the dive. Night's only begun. Don't you think we're done?